What's going on, family? Welcome to Lapeef Sunday. Let me go ahead and introduce the crew. We got Miss Sham Monet. We got Balance, Brother Hink. We got Louise. There's story to tell. Me, myself, on Lapeef JR. Welcome to Lapeef Sunday. What's going on, family? What's going on? How y'all doing?
Well, good. How y'all doing? Y'all can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Hear me? All right.
Yeah. Like I think Sham might have been kind of starstruck when she heard the voice. She was speechless.
Oh, that's what it was. Absolutely. I'm still taken back.
Come on back to reality, man. It's good to see you guys, man. Happy Sunday. Happy
I like
Sunday.
the yellow on you, JR.
Oh, thank you.
I
Thank
like
you.
that
Man.
yellow on you.
Yeah, this yellow likes me too.
And with the background, I like it.
Yeah. I got to get the background together. I had to switch it up a little bit, man.
Nah, that color is fire, man.
Yeah. You kind of froze up a little bit. You got coffee, man. I'm jealous. I'm over here.
I went to Dunkin'. That's why I asked you how long.
You went to Dunkin'? Man, I wish I should have done. Should have chose that. Anyhow, man, it's good to see you guys, man. I'm not addicted to coffee, but I do like the taste of it, man. I'm going to give me a glass of water just so I can try to make it through. So just kind of keep your cup on the low. When you sip, just sip off cam. Okay. All right, let's go to get the housekeeping out the way, man. Shout out to the sponsor, Tej Hanley. Uncomplicated skincare for men. You guys get 40% off along with a free gift. And you get 20% off for life if you click that link in the description. The Tej works. I love it. I just got through using it not too long ago. I use it on my hair and my face, and it does the job. So I encourage anybody who's looking to get their skin in order to get that Tej Hanley. Again, you get 40% off along with a free gift. You can't beat that, man. And the packaging is pretty nice. I do like the packaging because the packaging seems very masculine. It seems like it's okay. It's something for us men to be okay to do. There's nothing wrong with making sure your skin is in order. A lot of times back in the day when we was younger, we didn't really focus on ourselves, at least a lot of men that I knew. But as we get older, we understand the importance of being able to look youthful the older we get. So shout out to Tej. We also had the beard care, which is a Sure Man King on top. If you're looking to get your beard in order, this is the way to go. I just got through, I didn't line myself up, man, but I conditioned and shampooed. And I didn't have no time to really prepare today. So if I'm looking a little bit rough, excuse my appearance. But immediately after the stream, I'll make sure I go ahead and rub some of this Assure Man on there so I can go ahead and get that shine and get that smell good. If you got it already, you know what I'm talking about. It's nothing like being around your lady when it's smelling good, right, Hank?
I know right what's right, bro. I know what's right. Hey, let me ask you this, Jay. I mean, I'm running low. I'm gonna have to re-up. You know what I'm saying? So, are we gonna have an Independence Day sale going on?
Yeah, well, shit. Why not, man? Why not? I might go ahead and drop the code now. I might go ahead and drop the code during the stream, man. I'll go ahead and drop the Independence. Independence right around the corner. I'll just do a little flash 3-day sale right around the corner. Tomorrow, July 1st. Time is flying. Damn.
Right on. Right on.
You know, I always laugh because when I was in Chicago, we used to always look forward to summer, and summer is just now hitting. But if you're in a place like Texas, you felt summer about February, March. You're starting to feel like summer already. I don't even check the weather. I just wake up and know it's going to be the same temperature almost every single day at a certain point. What you about to say, Jay?
Nah, I'm saying it's the same thing here in the South Carolina.
Yeah.
By the time, like I would say, the end of February, it's gonna be warm. You know, you might have a sprinkle of like 47-degree days. You know, from the end of February to about End of October, like Halloween.
Yeah, that's how it is, man. But it's just crazy how the different dynamics of weather changes depending on where you are. Anyhow, man, it's good to see the chat. We got the AP accountability partner in there, Mr. BX87, Dale Matthew, Vince, Therese, Black House. Oh, everybody seems like they're falling off now. Shannon Duncan. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat. If you want to become part of Green Gang, click that link that's in the description and go green. I still got to drop that clip, man, from about a couple months ago. It was the live stream. We had Nola, we had Trev. Who else was there? We had a few other people that was there too, man. I got to make sure I drop that live stream. And I'm going to go ahead and give it to the Green Gang first. Trying to do a little bit of stalling, trying to wait to see if we can get balanced back before I play this clip. Again, if you haven't already, hit that like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and share the stream. It's going to be an excellent show today. And I am looking forward to hearing their perspectives and opinions about what's going on. What kind of coffee you drinking over there, Shan?
Just straight up black coffee.
Black coffee?
You're in Dallas, right?
Yeah, I'm in the Dallas area.
In 2 more weeks, you're going to see a lot of people I know in town. Hope you're ready for us.
Well, what's going on?
Correct and sorority.
They would be in full effect.
Okay, ain't nothing wrong with that. Where at about?
Lord help the city of Dallas.
This is going to be downtown Dallas.
Okay.
You're going to see a lot of pink and green.
Yeah, I might have to come through, man. I have to come through and see what's going on. I'm just trying to stall for balance, man. I fell off. I had to miss the video.
Look here, JR. It's gonna be a lot of one night stands that weekend. That's all I'm gonna say.
Ain't nobody thinking about no men. This is for us. This is a sisterhood. They ain't got nothing to do with men. Y'all cannot stand not being a part of something, right?
No, they gonna be a part of it.
Hank, where are you?
For 20 minutes, they're gonna be a part of it. I'm in Kentucky.
Oh, Kentucky. It's interesting.
It's gonna be a lot of black and gold down there too. If there's some pink and green,
Possibly.
Jay, like I said, it's gonna be a lot of one night stands happening.
Now that's just the wrong sorority. That's not how we get down.
So that's not that.
Wrong one.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and get it started, man. I tried to start a little bit, man. So you guys know who Cory is. Cory Hardrict used to be married to Tia Mowry. He did come out and spoke to the masses. I think it was at a BET experience. He went through a divorce. Some folks may call it being messy, but I don't think it was messy on his end. He seemed a little bit reserved. We've seen a lot from Tia. Tia was very vocal. You know, she's a social media influence to some, and she was still carrying on as she do. And some of her messages and some of her posts was in relation to her previous relationship. So now we finally get to hear from Cory Hardrict, that is, and he's gonna tell us how he was felt and what he was going through in this brief clip. So I'm gonna go ahead and play it, and let's get your reactions to it.
You know, it's tough when it feels like you're going through something alone and no one understands, and you know, no one's there for you, and it's just like, you know, when you're a man, especially a black man, they're like, oh, he's tough, he's strong. But you know, it was a year and a half crying myself to sleep every night. You know, nobody see that.
Yeah.
Nobody see that.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, you live 5 minutes away from your babies, you know what I'm saying? Because people who know Cory Hardrict know that his kids and his family was everything to him. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm stronger than I thought I was.
Yes.
I'm really stronger. And that by the grace of God, it's like, I'm here and I'm still going.
All right, let's go ahead and discuss this, man. So a couple things that stood out to me was him saying that he was crying himself to sleep. He also spoke about not being able to be around his family as a unit, because it is a difference being in the family as a unit versus being separate. And you guys and the kids are visiting one another. So he said he cried himself to sleep. a lot of nights, man, and it lasted about a year. You guys think it's okay for a man to cry in situations like that? Would you say that's pretty normal?
I mean, I think that's the best circumstance to do it. He by himself. You know what I mean? If you're gonna do it at any time, that's probably the right time.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna go to get your thoughts about that, Hank, man. What is your reaction to what he just said as far as being separated from the family and and the whole kid aspect of it? Because I think that's probably one of the most important parts. After get that moment of clarity.
Yeah, look, I, I ain't gonna, I don't know. I mean, I think crying that long and that much is extreme. I mean, damn, that's rough. But I mean, who am I to tell that man how to, handle a situation like that? Everybody deals with it their own separate ways. That's a lot of crying, though, brother. But hopefully he got the help that he need to get through it. Um, look, I ain't gonna fault the man for even shedding a tear. I mean, you know, you hate to hear when women say men don't care about their kids because that's the men get emotional, overly emotional, very emotional for individuals going through. I did that. I was emotional like that, but not to the point of crying, but just upset, anger, and frustration of knowing this has happened. So I do have a level of sympathy for him, but damn, I don't. He said a whole year he cried. Is that what he's saying?
Yeah, he said a whole year, and just to give a
Yeah,
little bit of context too, man. They have two children together, Cree, which is 12, and Caro, which is 6. So if I had to imagine, they had to been together for about 12 years at least, if we had to base it off the child's age, the oldest.
yeah. That's a lot, man. I couldn't imagine crying for a whole year. I mean, that's a long time to me. But like I said, who am I to tell a man how to handle what he's going through? Like I said, I could definitely understand, and I could definitely relate to the frustration maybe that he may felt, the anger, maybe even some bitterness. Because when I was going through it, I was bitter, I was angry, and I went through a dark time, man. And I wasn't no good in a relationship. And in any woman, I apologize to you if I hurt you during that 2 year time period because I didn't give a shit about your ass. I'm going to say it now. I was on a 20-minute and better vengeance because I feel like I needed to get back. So, Shane, if you had crossed my path, I would have had to apologize to you, man, for hurting you. And the reason I'm saying is because she's not engaged right now, not because it really happened, because she's not acting like she's paying attention. And I forgive you, Shane. But no, all jokes aside, hey, man, it's rough for men, and men really do care about their family. Men really do care about relationships, and men really do want to keep their family together. And for something like this to happen, and for her reasons, because we all know her reasons, she always talks about it, was lame and it was weak to me. So I'll leave it there.
All right. Luis, can you hear me okay, brother? Okay. What are your thoughts about what he said? The highlights of the whole conversation was about him crying over a year. We don't know for what. And then also he spoke about not being able to be a unit with his kids and family.
Honestly, it's like Hank said. The way how he handled it, we all handle things differently. But I much rather him had taken the time to console himself and cry in his own private quarters than him crying on social media, than him posting and writing a bunch of crazy stuff, right? I think in terms of how he handled it, nobody knew. If he didn't have this conversation, no one would have known. And sort of us knowing that he had cried and understanding the backstory of everything that had happened leading to his divorce and his relationship, I think he handled it much better. The crying aspect, obviously, a lot of men are gonna feel and think a lot different in terms of him crying about it. But again, this is a man who lost his family, and I'm not a father, but I can only imagine you will feel like you failed or you fell short if you're not able to kind of have family, your unity, all under one household, and sort of he must have felt really distraught about it. But I will say one thing as a caveat. Um, he might have fell short in the relation aspect with her, but the amount of lashes that he received online from just people and women, what I'm saying, knowing that he was a pretty stand-up guy, and she also said that too. Like she never came to his defense about that. So I thought that was a missed opportunity there. Hey you.
All right. AP came in with a super chat, says accountability partner, $20. He didn't cry all year. He cried periodically throughout the year. You go from seeing your kids every day to having access limited and restricted. That grief and pain hit different. Thank you, AP, for that. I'm going to go ahead and go to you, Jay. Let me go to Shan Monet. So you heard what Cory had to say. He's divorced. He's been together for a while. I'm not sure how long they've been married, but I will get that information for you guys shortly. But nevertheless, they got 2 kids together, 12 and 6. What are your thoughts about it, man?
I think they've been married for quite a long time, but if I remember correctly. So one, I commend him for doing that publicly. A lot of people won't do that. They won't be honest about what they go through the healing process. And it does, when you're in love with somebody, truly in love with somebody, it does take a long time to heal from that person. He's probably still healing. It probably won't look the same, but and then you have to see that person over and over again because y'all got kids together. Oh, imagine that. So I feel sorry for him. I really do. It would be interesting to know what happened that caused the divorce because he seemed like a good guy, I can say that I used to watch their reality show. She and Tamara used to have a reality show. And I found that Tamara, which is not the one we're talking about, had more of a service personality. She was the doer. Like she was more heartfelt, whereas Tia was like I don't know, it's kind of like the spoiled one, so to speak. I know there was a conversation that they both had because Tamara was her maid of honor, but Tia didn't want to be her maid of honor because it was too much work. So it just gives you an insight on their personality, so to speak, And so when you have somebody, and I'm not saying because I don't know her like that, all I can go by is what I've seen. When you have somebody like that, it may be hard to please. Who knows? I don't know because I don't know them, but I can just go by what I've seen. But like I said, I feel bad for him. He seemed like, even on the show, he seemed like a really good dude. They seemed like they had a good relationship. It's just interesting that it had to end. It just sucks that it had to end this way. So.
Yeah, so they was married for 15 years, just for the record.
That's a long time.
Jay. Yeah, it's a long time. Go ahead, Jay.
I mean, for one, I don't think you could put a timeline on grief or loss. You really can't put a timeline on it. I was in short relationships, that might have lasted maybe a year, if that. And I grieved that longer than relationships where I was in it for like 2 or 3 years. You know what I'm saying? It's just the level of the relationship. You know what I'm saying? The depth of the relationship. So there's no timeline on it. And I mean, as far as men crying, we stuff so much stuff to the back burner, in terms of this happens, I'm not going to react to it. That happens, I'm not going to react to it. That happens. We take so much stuff that we deal with in the world, so many circumstances, so many obstacles, so many failures, so much loss, and we just ball it up and we put it somewhere. You know what I mean? So him crying for a year, like I agree with AP. I don't think he meant literally every day. But, they are catalysts, man. You could be suffering from a loss of a loved one, and you could see, a cop beating up an innocent black kid or shooting an innocent back. And that could be the thing that, that could be the icing on the cake. That could be the cherry on top that just has you, boom, you explode. All those emotions just come out. So you never know what the catalyst is going to be, because we know there's a lot of stuff that we put to the back just because we have to do it to keep moving forward. Like, I don't have time to sit here and grief this and feel these feelings right now, because I got work to do. I got to make sure this person is okay. I got to take this person to the doctor. I got to make sure this person got their braces. I got, you know what I mean? We have so many hats that we don't have time to sit there and just be emotional about stuff. So, and nobody cares. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's another thing. Nobody's gonna come and pet our heads and, tell, oh, it's gonna be okay. We don't have time for that because nobody cares. So you have a situation where he probably had time to be by himself, be in his thoughts, and that was probably just the catalyst. Boom. And he got through it. You know what I mean? And if, like Luis said, if he never said anything, nobody would have never knew. He wasn't on the internet talking about, you know, new year, new me, or, all those little cryptic texts or status that people post when they get out of relationships, whatever, you know what I'm saying? The series of texts and cryptic messages that people post on their status when they out of a relationship and they claiming to be better off without it. So I think it was mature of him to say that. But just as well, if you look at the comments, you see there's a bunch of people that want to compare trauma. You know what I'm saying? They want to play trauma tennis. Oh, Tia went through a lot too. Nobody cares. This ain't about her right now. You know what I'm saying? She had her run of New Year, New Me. Look at me. I'm on a damn yacht. Look at me. I'm playing tennis. You know what I mean? He just sat back and he healed. That's what you're supposed to do here. You don't get people involved in your healing. You just shut up, stay the course, you heal. You do the work. That's a lesson.
Like you never no, I'll be honest with you. I never heard anything from this guy. Like it's like radio silent. Like he didn't go on a media tour or a podcast tour or a Twitter X, Twitter finger expect run, and like nobody heard from this guy. Nobody saw. He was like behind the scene. He took his licking and he just took his ball and went home. He was quiet about it. He was very humble about it. And the way he handled himself in terms of optics and portrayal of him, it's me to believe that this guy didn't care. It wasn't like he was outside or in the clubs or on a
Breaking up, Luis.
Breaking up.
But to
like
Luis's
speak
point,
that credence about her. Like she was trying
the opposite of like Luis, the opposite of what Luis is explaining would have been is it Devin Franklin, the dude who divorced Megan Good?
Mhm.
Like, he was on a tour, yo. He was on a How Does It Feel tour, you know what I'm saying? Crying. He got the post, bigger and better things. He got the video of him just in tears, like, hey, he wants to include everybody in his healing. Like,
Yeah.
let me monetize this pain. You know what I mean? So he would be the total opposite of Tia's ex.
Yeah. And just to add before I get to Cookie, just to add to it too, it's easy for us as outsiders to really speak on anybody's situation if you had not gone through it. So it's easy to say what we would do. And then typically when people are in situations, they really have no control over how they respond to things. I mean, 15 years is a long time. And sometimes like men carry the burden as far as not ever wanting to fail their marriage, even though they may have contributed to the marriage failing. So I don't think that no man wants a marriage to fail. And so when it comes to that reality, get that reality check, it's like, damn, the life that I had is completely different now. I remember Hink spoke on this when he said that he walked into a empty house and it was a different type of feeling. And sometimes you don't get that moment of clarity or you're not able to relate to until you start seeing the consequences and the symptoms of your new reality. So,
Real quick, and even more so if you created them.
right. Yeah. Like if you
Like if you did something to cause it.
Yeah.
which I don't think is this guy's situation, but a lot of people created the reason that they're in an empty house.
Mhm. And then also too, if you have a love for your children, if you are active and you do consider their feelings, sometimes kids begin to ask questions when you go through those things. And so if he's around his kids and the kids are saying, like, how come you have your own house? Or how come when you start to hear those things, those are also some things that can contribute to the hurt. And it's like you reliving everything all over again because kids are going to ask questions. And it's going to take some time for them to be able to digest the new reality that they have to live in as well. And who knows what's being said when the kids are around. And maybe you may not think they're around, but maybe they're ear hustling or they're playing with their toys and iPads and watching TV and able to catch a glimpse of conversations. And then they're coming to the other parent and they're like relaying certain things. So who knows what that man is going through or have gone through. I mean, he did seem like he took some time before he was able to respond, which I can respect that. And I'm not going to be the one to sit there and be hard on him from saying that he was crying. And I think everybody handles it differently. However you handle it is on him, and kind of go from there. I'm gonna go ahead and run this clip back. I'm not sure if you've seen it. I'm gonna go ahead and run it back for you, and then we'll go ahead and get your opinion about it.
Because it's tough when it feels like you're going through something alone and no one understands, and no one's there for you, and it's just like when you're a man, especially a black man, they're like, oh, he's tough, he's strong, but it was a year and a half crying myself to sleep every night. Nobody see that. Yeah. Nobody see that. Yeah. You live 5 minutes away from your babies, you know what I'm saying? Because people who know Cory Hardrict know that his kids and his family was everything to him. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm stronger than I thought I was. Yes. I'm really stronger. And that by the grace of God, it's like, I'm here and I'm still going.
Oh yeah, and also too, something you got to factor in is that sometimes men do want to be the bigger person, and he didn't say anything negative about his children's mother. So it shows that he has some type of respect for her, at least being the mother, despite what the media and everybody else responded to it. So he still seemed like he is an upstanding individual. I don't know him personally, but basically how he responds, and typically you can kind of gauge how people are, the way they respond to conflict and tough situations. And how he conducted himself, it seemed I can probably safely say that he's doing a good job as far as not feeding into the BS that everybody else is contributing to. What are your thoughts about it, Court? Country?
I hate coming into conversations late. So, did y'all discuss what made them, why they got divorced?
No, we don't have a record of that, and if you have it, it'll probably be breaking news. But if not,
No.
they've been married for 15 years. They have a 12-year-old and a 6-year-old. It looked like that might have been the BET experience, and he was on a panel, and this is his first time really coming out saying anything about what's been going on as far as that divorce. And so those were his first words, and the highlights of it was that
That was Essence Festival, right?
I think so. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So, is there a specific question? I could say a lot.
Yeah. I just want to kind of get your response. I mean, the highlights of it was just basically he loved his
Okay.
family and people. What everybody basically been saying is that you really don't know what men go through. They grieve a little differently as far as when it comes to these things, and the fact that he wasn't publicly bashing or saying anything negative. He just kind of gathered himself and was healing, and then he came out doing this experience, and these are his first words. So we just getting reactions to uh, what you saw, how you felt, and general thoughts
Okay.
on the whole situation.
All right. So I felt like he was genuine with what he was saying. Um, the fact that he took this long to say anything shows um maturity on his part, because not knowing what happened between them, that he could have easily been going back and forth with his baby mama on the internet. She would have made that very easy, because she came back after the divorce just going ham, right? So I feel like as far as the way men mourn in relationships, I think that it's sad that we don't know. I think that we should know, but I think it's up to men to let us know, like more female friends, if not anything, or I mean, your moms probably know, but like just female friends, because we have no idea. Because I mean, sometimes women get ghosted, and that man might be crying in the corner. We don't know. You know what I mean? So to hear a guy come out and say that openly to most women is actually probably kind of shocking, because we're probably like, the way y'all be acting and out here wilding, y'all act like y'all turnover rate is high. Like there was no mourning period for you. So at least that's the face card that men show. So what I would suggest is stop using the word simping and being more open to sharing your feelings with the woman you care about. And that could be a friend, that could be a relative, that could be the woman that you're not together with. And maybe people will solve problems. But I think that goes both ways. Like, stop hiding stuff. Like, what are we lying for? If you love the person, you fucked up, say something. You know what I mean? Tell them how you actually feel instead of going off like, whatever. I don't need, I'm gonna go buy some bottles, but you at home crying after the club. Like, we don't know that. All we see is the Instagram page with you buying bottles. So I just think if everybody would be truthful, including women, the world would be a better place.
Okay.
I think, I think as men, that takes training, that takes a circle of other men that are forthcoming, with their situations. It definitely has to be an environment and a safe space that's set, because that's not easily done. You know what I mean? Like, I can only imagine how many times like JR or Hank, will get a text from a homeboy, what's good? How you doing? Oh, I'm chilling. I'm good. And literally JR's house is burning down. Stuff could be in ruins, but he'll respond, I'm good, via text. Or Hank will respond, yeah, I'm chilling. Chaos is happening. You know what I'm saying? But because it's just the instinct that nobody cares, but until, we have that circle where we are forthcoming, or somebody breaks the ice and it's like, dog, man, it's not good. It's not good over here, I need help, Yo, man, you got about $500 I can borrow, dog, until Friday. Like, we'll never say that. We'll always just let the worst happen and then talk about it later. But it just, some friends have opened up to me about certain stuff, man. And, I feel like it improved the relationship because you had to be vulnerable. We're all going through this. We just, like you said, we put on a good face to hide it, but we're all going through it. We all hit our rough patches. We all hit our bitter patches. We all hit our we mad at the world. But where you don't know that, you won't ever know that.
Yeah, I agree with that. Go ahead, Hank. You want to add anything?
Can you hear me?
Keep talking. We heard you, but it was a little static. But try.
Okay. No, I just want to make sure you can hear me before I start.
No, really hear you.
The
It
thing
sounds
about it,
pretty bad.
so you can barely hear my sound.
Yeah, we hearing this kind of bad.
Everybody in
Can't hear
this
you.
today. Where y'all going?
My son plays in a basketball tournament in the dirt bowl, so I'm going to support my boy.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
You
we
said
can hear you better.
Okay. So what Jay was saying was very, very much true for a lot of men. It's because most of the times people don't really care. You tough guy. You good. You don't need no sympathy, no empathy, or none of that. You expected to just deal with whatever you deal with and keep it moving. We taught that as kids. Stop all that crying, boy. Get your ass up and get on about your business. What you doing all that crying for? A man is not allowed to express his emotions because it makes a man look soft. And that's forever. Like I said, from knee high to a grasshopper, we've been dealing with that type stuff. Now, it's not fair. It's not okay. It's not cool because a man goes through the same issues that a lot of women go through. We go through depression. We go through ups and downs. We have our bad moments. When y'all women are having y'all babies, guess what? We're not actually physically pregnant, but we are going through some of the moves that y'all are dealing with. We go through the ups and downs as far as hoping the baby is healthy when it comes out. 10 fingers, 10 toes. We want all of those same things that a lot of women want and a lot of other people want. But that's not how it's portrayed on us. That's not how it's looked toward us. We looked as if you show any vulnerability, you're a weak person. And I don't think that should be the case. I don't think that's to be true. Let me say this. If you could be vulnerable, you're a bigger man than a lot of other people because it takes a lot of strength for you to express your weaknesses. And I believe it there.
I got something to say real fast. I wonder. So we don't really know why they got divorced, but we do know that she loves social media, right? She likes that attention. I think we can all agree with that. I wonder if that had something to do with it. Maybe he didn't want her to be, because she started doing it before the divorce, right? And then it just got increasingly more over time. You think that may have had something to do with it? Because I can see him being like, why we got to do this? No. This is just a speculation. This is not.
I don't like to guess, but I mean, I saw an interview with him one time. He came off a little, I would date him. Let me just put it like that. I would date that dude. Like, it was a Tia interview, or whichever one. Which one's he married to?
Tia.
Okay. It was her interview, and it was weird. But being that y'all are both celebrities, it's like dating another athlete when you were an athlete. When I was an athlete, if two athletes are dating, or two celebrity people are dating, or married, you've got to understand that there has to be a balance. Like Zendaya is a superstar. There's a clip of her on the internet. Tom Holland's movie came out. Instead of Zendaya standing in front of the paparazzi posing during his moment, she ran to the vehicle and got in and let Tom Holland start waving to the crowd and get his paparazzi moment in. I don't get that vibe from the dude she divorced. It's like me, 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 me. Wait, you can't. No, sir. My daddy didn't even do that to me, so he ain't my type. But I see where you're going with it, Shan.
I don't necessarily think a marriage would end over that, but I could see that being a blow amongst blows. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I can't see that being the punch, but I can see that being one of the, part of the combo. But I wouldn't put that on the sole reason.
No, absolutely. It was definitely a buildup of stuff. He probably was. I mean, I don't want to use the word, but it seemed controlling to me in the interview. But like, I don't like to speculate. I can only go off that one interview I saw, and if he anything in at home like he is in front of that camera, they definitely been had problems. And she probably saw those problems before they got married, but she wanted to get married so bad in a society that's telling women to get married young, that she stayed with him and accepted it, and then at some point she got fucking tired of it. I mean, it is what it is. Like, I see that happening. I've seen it happen to other people, and I'm like, bro, well, you knew this when you got with him, though. Like, what are we doing here? So they both at fault, if you ask me. If that's the reason.
And it will come out. It's gonna come out eventually. They've been really good about it, but it's gonna come out.
Let's go ahead and transition. Harrison Davis, Steph 499, salute. And AP again, $10 says men have been so angry that you punched the wall, flipped the table, drove so long you were 6 cities away. The pain a fully vested man feels when his family is taken, wouldn't wish it on anyone. Facts, facts. Yeah, just tune in, hit that like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and share the stream while you at it. I'm gonna go ahead and play this clip, man. And I know you guys have probably seen it. I do want to get your perspectives because the comments are all over the place. But a father lashes out on the stepdad. Did y'all see that one at barbershop? Go ahead and play this.
Y'all say all boys? Ain't not shit. That's my motherfucking son. World Star. That's my motherfucking. You don't got no business. Take me to the barbershop. I told you that. I told you that shit. 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 It's your first time. Hey, let me go ahead and call this mama real quick and we go ahead and get to the bottom of it. All right, you go ahead and you do that. And she better say the right shit because if she don't, I'm about to get you swinging in this. On God. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, whatever. I'm trying to poke you, man. Yo. Hey, ass not answering the phone, huh? Hey, ass probably what I thought ass. Hey, bro. Man. Like I told you. Hey, watch out. Get him out your son. That's not your motherfucking son. That's my motherfucking son. This you want to be Russell Wilson so motherfucking bad. This you want to be Russell Wilson so bad. Well, you don't even got a Sierra. Hey, bro, you doing too damn. Hey, bro. I need all this little fight. Hey, she said I answered the phone, huh? Hey, bro, all right. I'm really showing you. Yeah, all right. Oh, out here. Hey, like I said, watch your motherfucking son. Ain't your motherfucking son. Hold on. Hey, Keisha. Keisha. Hey, Keisha. Hey, she up here trying to take Sean with him. Let me get a little closer. What? You ain't taking her nowhere until you pay your child support. What? Child support? That little bitty ass shit. I can pay that shit right now on God. Do it then. Child support. Shit out your ass. Do it. Hey, take that outside, man. Hey, Keisha gonna really let this disrespect me in front of my motherfucking son? With your thought ass? Yeah. Oh, man. Hey, call that. Hey, I'm getting my motherfucking son. We going. Hey, Mike, I appreciate you, but I need my son. I need my son. Hey, let's wrap this shit up. I need my motherfucking son, man. Bye, bro. Give me my motherfucking son. Hey, don't get my son no more. I'm gonna shit out your ass. Yeah, all right. Yeah. Come on, light skin, man. All right. Let's go. All right. Man, you gonna let him take him like that? Shit out your ass. Come on, Russell. Was you letting him take? Hey, man, it's his son. It's his son. Man, I'm gonna go ahead. I ain't trying to fight. Oh, man, this man. Yeah, he took it. That shit crazy, man. You gonna get him, man?
All right, go ahead, Cookie.
First of all, that was just cringe for me to have to watch that again. Super cringe. But I'm in a playful mood today. I saw several things wrong with that video besides it being cringe. Shout out to the stepdad for stepping up and stepping in, like the woman said. But why he had on a crop top? Did anybody see that? And that crease in his shirt. Like his shirt is extremely too short for me. Like it was nagging me the whole video because they kept zooming in. I think they was doing it on purpose. He looked like he about to get his chain snatched by Debo. Now let's go back to the video. I had to get that off my chest. See, look how he leaning back. He like, yeah. Dun 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 dun. Anyways, yeah, sorry. I'm not lying. Y'all know I'm not. So, cringe on the part of the real father. Like, dude, you doing this over a haircut? Like, did the boy have dreads? Are they Rastafarian? There's so many questions I have to ask this guy. Like, what is the big deal? Like, what are we in here crying? Talk about disrespecting me in front of my son. Sir, you're disrespecting yourself. I need men to understand that happens. You know what I mean? This man in here doing what he probably normally does. And if that's a stepfather, that means that they're married, right? Are they married or is that her boyfriend? Because that makes a big difference. Does anybody know?
Nah, we don't have that information.
Oh, well, if they're married, I'm going to assume they married. The child's father is wrong. He has his weekends. I'm assuming he might not if it sounds like he behind on child support. But he has his time with the son, I would hope. But it sounds like they have a horrible relationship as far as like co-parenting. I think that the stepfather handled that as well as he could without it turning into violence. And that is his son. He can't kidnap his own son unless there's a court order that says he can't be around a boy. So he had to let him go. He did right, other than the way he was dressed. But that niggadom that dude was doing in that barbershop in front of his son should be used in court against him. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jay.
I give full respect to the stepfather or the boyfriend. You know, he kept his composure. He did everything right. You know what I mean? He didn't disrespect the father in front of the kid, which the kid, you know, the father clearly was on all disrespectful timing, you know, while his son was there, which, you know, you pretty much setting an example for your son. You know, this is how you act when you don't get your way or when things are going on. The next person who I would give the blame to, obviously, is the mother, because if I'm gonna be in a situation where your ex is running down on me in public places, like, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? There needs to be some type of common ground where this isn't happening. You know what I mean? Because think about it, yo. Think about, you know, you respectful, you a working man, you just trying to do the lady that you love or that you care about a favor, take her son. You know, she probably had a bunch of stuff to do. You're doing her a favor, and you go in there, and that essentially is a situation where somebody could have lost their life. You understand what I'm saying? Like, in certain parts of my life, if somebody would have ran up on me like that in a barbershop where I'm doing something gracious, ain't no telling, yo. Ain't no telling. We would have went to prison or somebody would have died. Yo, do not come up on me. And see, I'm the type of person, like, once I feel, because he was up in his personal space. Once you get up in my personal space, it's no more talking. You know, my muscle memory takes over. You know what I'm saying? And my hands just start throwing. You know what I mean? And he was way too close, way too aggressive. You know, so he would have got several punches to the face before we even talked it out. You know what I'm saying? I give utmost respect to that dude, the way he handled that. And then you got the people in the barbershop caught, and then he bringing up Russell Wilson, Shane Sierra, she had thought, you know, depending on our relationship, and you talking about my woman this way too, you know, it's gonna
He
be
done got slid where I was from. I agree. He just slid all the way back down out the front door of that barbershop.
like, you in my personal space, you got your hands at your sides, yo. I would have ate your face like 4 times before you even, you know, but that's respect. Your son is right here. I don't want you, you know, I don't want you to see dad take a nap, yo. You know what I'm saying? This is your father. So respect to him, yo. Respect to him, but that would probably be a problem in a relationship. Me personally, like that situation, depending on if I love her or we just kicking it, you know, if it's something real, we would have to have a serious conversation on if this relationship is going to continue, because that can never happen again, because that jeopardizes my freedom. And I can't deal with people where my freedom is compromised. That's not protecting me. When you hear women saying they want protection, that is men's version of protection. I need you to protect me. I need you to not have niggas running up on me in public places threatening my freedom, because that threatened my freedom.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent point, man. As far as I mean, I just hate all they have to go down in front of the child. You know, that child is innocent and asked to be placed in them situations like that, man. To have that unfold in him, I can just only imagine how that's gonna play with him growing up. Go ahead, Brother Hink. What are your thoughts about it, sir?
Man, I'll make sure you can hear me from where I'm at. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. Well, look, that situation's crazy. I don't agree with it all. I mean, my man got mad, I guess, because the stepdaddy stepped in the game plan and took over and did what he needed to do for his son. But why weren't you there? Now, a conversation should have been had between the biological mother and the father on who should have been taking the boy to the barber shop. That's what should have happened. But if he wasn't available, what are you supposed to do if the boy needs a damn haircut? You got to do what you got to do. So there's a whole lot about that situation, man. Look, a lot of stepfathers get a bad rap because people are always giving them a hard time about certain things, about how they coming in, and they, if you notice, they kept using. He said, "You want to be Russell Wilson so bad." Look here, man. Russell Wilson would be doing you a solid because she might not be complaining about you not paying child support if that dude was a Russell Wilson. She wouldn't be worried about that. But since his broke in the gutter ass man, because of the child support situation, he feel like he need to come here and bully. Now, visitation, child support, two separate things. So she shouldn't even equated them situations together. That's something that should have never been brought up. About the child support. If he's not doing what he's supposed to do for it, then take his ass to court and push the issue. But the man does have a right to visit. Now, again, he should have been taking his own son to the barbershop. If she agreed that her boyfriend had to do it, why? Well, if my man, like I said, if he wasn't available to do it, then what is he supposed to do? I'm gonna leave it there.
Yeah, when I was listening to it, it didn't really sound like he was in the picture. Might not have been in the picture at all. And so it almost seems as though the biological father might have stumbled across his son being with that guy. But that's why it's very important for men to be able to have an understanding of what type of relationship his girlfriend or wife, whoever she may be to him, has with her child's father. Because if there's any drama and things are not set in place, like they don't have any boundaries or any rules that's been put in place, then that's probably a situation that you shouldn't want to be a part of, no matter who that woman is. Because now you're placing yourself in an unpredictable situation that may go left and may put you somewhere and may put that child's father somewhere, depending on what goes down.
You know what, JR? I'm sorry for interrupting. I don't believe it was a coincidence at all. I think somebody at that barbershop knew that man. I
Mhm.
think that they told him that his son was up there, which is even messier. Call me paranoid or whatever, and say, "Hey, yo, son up here with this dude, so and so and so." Probably the dude recording it, since they was calling him Russell Wilson, and that's even more dangerous. That's like on some RICO crime stuff. So, like, my thing is, ma'am, like, you didn't warn this man about your child's father. Like, he had no idea. You know what I mean? Like, he out here in public. He going to the same barbershop that you took him to when y'all was together or something? Because the child is older. You can look at him, he about 5'6" at the most, right? So he's had a fade before. So, like, are you doing this on purpose? Like, somebody at that barbershop knows both of them and let that man know that he ain't just walking there on accident. I don't believe that. I think that them people called on him and was like, your son up here. But that's just my point of view.
Yeah. Go ahead, Shan.
Listen. Oh, Jesus. Let me tell y'all better be careful who y'all be having kids with. Because, Lord, if that man was in my life, I don't know what I'd do. I'd be running for the hills. He probably would never see his kid because I'm scared of that. You understand? I am scared of that. I am not about that life. I would have been like the stepdaddy. But I think that this is the reason why a lot of men are scared to be in that position as the stepfather. These shenanigans right here. Listen, when you have a kid with somebody, you don't own that person. You don't own that person's household. If he is the stepfather, he is now the man of that house. Your kid is going to be under his direction, whether you like it or not. If you don't like it, marry her. You should have married her. You could have been the head of that household, right? So, unfortunately, if it's not your time to have the kid, your kid will be with someone else. And you will hope that that person would care for your kid as if they were you. And this is exactly what this man looked like he was doing. He took them, the young man needed a haircut, and he took him to the barbershop. Now, we may need to find another barber not go with that one no more. Because we see what kind of you're right. I agree with Cookie. It seems like that was a setup, and he came in there regulating because those people knew that's what they called him for, to put this man in check. And that dude don't even like you about that. Like, he's like this ain't even my type of environment. He didn't even feel comfortable. It doesn't even like he felt comfortable in that environment. And it's unfortunate because this kid is witnessing this. Think about the psychological effect even if you have a problem, let's just say you truly have a problem. That's why two adults step to the side and have a conversation, not in front of the kid, outside. Why you got to put on the show? Well, there was nothing about that situation for you to put on a show. It's a haircut, And so I just felt like he was doing way too much, and it was attention seeking. Like, I'm trying to show, ego boost, beat my chest type of situation, and nobody wins, especially the kid. That's embarrassing.
He was doing that for the people that called him.
Absolutely. And it's embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing. Like, I felt like the stepdaddy handled himself the way he should have handled himself, like an adult in the situation. I wouldn't have had nothing out with him either, because he wanted to fight. What? We're not doing that. It's a haircut. Out of all the things in the world to fight about, you fighting about a haircut that I brought your son, who needed a haircut, to get. What are we doing here? Like, it is crazy to me. This is, I don't even know why this is even, but it's unfortunate because it is a situation that happens all the time when you have kids with people, and the women do it too. You have a new woman in your life, your wife, they try to, listen.
And this unresolved issue. It's unresolved issues. When a man is emotional like that, it's because he's still tied to the woman in some way, whether emotionally, he still has or wants to have some type of control or interaction with her. When you're separated, when you've cut the cord, you don't have those type of emotions like that where you running up on somebody in public. Because on the other hand, your life is in danger too. You know what I mean? So when you're emotional, you're willing to put your life in danger. So he doesn't know this dude. You know what I mean? When you do that, you're emotionally tied into it.
Yep. What's going on with your name?
Good afternoon, my guys, my ladies. Good afternoon, everyone. One thing about life is this, right? Not everybody in this life has a value for their life. Not everyone. Some people value their life, some people don't value their life. I was dealing with a lady one time back in college, and she was telling me about her ex-husband, how the ex-husband is so emotionally attached to her, and he wants her back. You know what I did? I cut it off. I was done. I didn't want to deal with it. Common sense is supposed to be common, but it's not common. When you want to be a stepdad and you know that the father or the baby daddy to your woman or the father to the children of your woman is emotionally still attached to that woman, big guy, step aside. Value your damn life. If you die, she's going back to her ex. You might be in jail. If you die, she's still gonna move on with her life. After a few months of money in your ass, she's gone. People have to learn how to value their lives, man. And I gotta say this: I'm never gonna fight a man in the presence of his child. I'm gonna stay away from that. It only get worse. And having to fight a man in the presence of his child will turn that child against you, because children are emotionally attached to their parents. No matter the shortcoming of a father, children love their fathers. So I gotta say this, Jay. If that is his father, don't do nothing. Just step away. Just leave him alone. Because that child will turn against you. Big time. And I will say one other thing again. Guys, please know who to marry. Know who to get involved with. If that woman is petty, she might use you against her baby daddy. Why do you want to put yourself in that situation? Have respect for yourself and stay away from people's family. Stay away from people's family. If you want to deal with her sexually, deal with her sexually. Don't ever come across her children. Don't ever make any contact. Don't even come, I would say, half a mile from her ex. Don't even show up half a mile from her ex. Stay as far as possible. Only deal with her in private. Don't do shit with our children. Stop being stepfathers, man. Stepfather is not rewarding. I understand that people want to be superhero. Be superhero to your children. If you don't have kids, stay to yourself. Because one thing that happens is this: family will always come together no matter what. You are a volunteer. They will forget about you. They will never remember you. In fact, the children don't want you there. No matter how good you are to those kids, they don't even want you. They want their father. Those kids want their mother. They don't want you. I'm sick and tired of men in the last
That's a
50 years.
lie.
Let me finish, please. I'm sick and tired of men in the last 50 years trying to be heroes. Even women. I'm sick and tired of you guys trying to be heroes. Leave families alone. Just stay away from families. Let families, if they want to mess up and destroy themselves, let them destroy themselves. It's not your business. It's not your business to be a superhero. I'm telling you guys for real. I'm not going to deal with a woman that have kids. You know why? Because my life is that precious and my time is precious. And guess what? I don't want the headache that come with it. Instead, I can spend money to take if she wants money for her kids, I'll give her the money. But for me to step into her family and blend with her family, it's not gonna happen. I'm sorry. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. If I want another wife, I will start a whole family together, and she will have a separate house. She will not be in the same house with the first wife or anything. No, she will not. Because guess what? That's how issues start. I'm just telling you guys. That is why I say all these issues about polygamy or something, it's not for poor people. Because poor people don't know how to do things right. I'm sorry if I'm mean. It's not for poor people. It's for rich people, people that can afford it.
All right.
It's for people that can afford it.
I
Go
did
ahead, bro.
want to get Cookie in there. Cookie, you said that was a lie. What was a lie about what he said?
Oh, I'm back. I was laying down, falling asleep on that. I'm allergic to bullshit. But anyway,
I concur.
stepfathers and stepmothers, just to make sure you're in a situation not like this one. All blended families are not created the same. You can tell when people talk from trauma, and uh, it shines bright when people project their problems on the world. Um, you don't have to avoid a good woman with children that's got control over the situation and knows how to co-parent. I know this because my mom was my dad's second wife, and my brothers adored my mother. We didn't have the same mom. I've seen the shit work, so I know for a fact that that's a lie because I've seen it work. So yeah, I'm calling bullshit. Like the card game on that. Sorry, just that part. I didn't really hear the rest of what you said. I honed in on that part though because I have stepbrothers. But yeah, no, that's basically all I had to say. I know that's bull. That's a lie. That's just a bald faced lie. They don't want you. That is a lie. They do. They want as many parents as they can because guess what? In a good family, a solid family, that means that's the more support, the more stuff, the more places they can be, the more love that they can gain. And that's coming from a place of a loving family. Now, if you in a traumatic ghetto, whatever, ghetto superstar situation like the one we just saw, I would recommend that y'all seek counseling. But as far as saying that we don't want children and da da da, da, don't tell people that, because that's wrong. Don't do that. That's that's a lie. That's all I'm saying, Jr. Like, I'm tired of getting up on here. I came on here with a joking spirit, and it just every time. Every motherfucking time it gets ruined. Every time with some bullshit. That was bullshit. Some people just be talking to me, talking. They talking about polygamy. Boy, when nobody talking about polygamy, start screening people, JR. Shoot.
Go ahead, Shan Monet. I know you said you.
Cookie said it. The devil showed up on this great Sunday, and so we just had to. I do believe there's situations. Unfortunately, that this is one situation. There are situations where stepdads are great, and the kids adore their stepdad more than they do their biological fathers. And the same with mothers. It just depends on how you treat people. There's going to be a different case. Everybody is different. I have a friend right now. His stepdaughter treats him better than his real daughter. And it's really weird. Just because their personality, not because she doesn't love him, it's just their personalities are just a little different. She's more hands-on and all of that kind of stuff. So it just depends on your and I'll also say it also depends on when you come into their lives. You have a greater effect on kids when they're younger. I will say that. But other than that, it's just a kid, my kids adore the guy. They finally met. They adore him. This just when people treat you right, you love the people who treat you right. And sorry, my internet.
Just don't come in here on
my internet
and
the food. But you understand what I'm saying. I agree with Cookie. Yeah, that Reddit. I don't know why men do what they do, and in the same sense, you do the same thing to women. You say you put a woman in one house and another one in another. Like I don't understand that, but okay.
Okay, let me say something to you guys so you understand what I mean. I see people all the time on podcasts. They said, "Oh, I want to marry 2 wives. I want to marry 3 wives." Those are the ones I'm telling that message to. Stop saying you want to marry 2 wives or 3 wives when you broke. You see what I'm saying? It's not for broke people. If you want to do blended family, make sure you have the spirit to do that. Make sure you have what it takes to do that. Don't get into something you're not prepared mentally or financially for. That's what.
I think she was just saying we wasn't discussing polygamy, and you brought it up. That's what she was saying.
Okay, I'm not discussing polygamy, but I'm just bringing it up because sometimes people want to get into stuff like that. They want to discuss. Like I'm just bringing it into the discussion because I hear all those things. People want to be stepped out. People want to get into polygamy. People want to carry load that they're not capable of carrying. That's what I'm saying in essence. Stick to what you can do. Do what you're capable of doing. And I will say it again. You guys, I understand that most of you ladies here might be single mothers. You're always going to protect your feelings. I understand that. That's your feelings, but I'm talking about logically. Logically, it's not good for a man to come in between families. The same goes for women. I always advise girls that I know. I have a lot of girls that I know. When they're dealing with a guy, one of the first questions that I will ask the girl is this: Does he have a child? Yes. Are you sure you're mentally capable of dealing with the baby mama? Yes. Are you sure? Because 2 years from now you're gonna come crying. So the same advice I give to guys, I give it to women. So I understand that you girls might be emotional about this, but if you're not capable of handling that situation, don't even get into it at the first place. That's why I would totally tell guys any day, anytime, do not deal with a stepmother. Not that a stepmother is not good, but there are things that come with it. She might be a good woman, but the stepdad the baby daddy is crazy. Why do you want to deal with that? I have a lot going on in life to be dealing with situations I can't even handle. That doesn't benefit me. You see what I'm saying? That's my advice. So if you want to take it that, oh, you're a stepmother, or you want to be able to get another man in your life, go do it. That's your choice. But do understand that when that decision puts a lot of people in situation.
No,
That's
it
just what it
doesn't.
is.
Can you take a breath so somebody else can talk? Can I say something? My
You know
daughter's
what?
20.
If
My
you want
daughter
to have
is.
a conversation, just respect people, okay? I'm not here to argue with your
You
disrespect.
long-winded though. I
So
didn't come
please,
on here
please,
this Sunday
please,
to hear you
please,
preach about
just
stuff we
please
not talking
chill,
about.
okay? Chill, okay?
Man,
Please show respect, okay?
I will because you my
I,
elder.
I I will say
Only because you
that
old
being a
enough to be
step
my
parent is
daddy.
not for everybody.
What was that saying?
I
You
will
said
say
Ben.
that being a step parent. Oh, me?
I think you got a delay. Just go ahead.
Oh, I know that. Okay, sorry. I do know that being a step parent isn't for everybody, and everything should be situational. I do not want you to step in a situation where you feel like you are at harm, but most people are not in that situation. Y'all look at these internet and it blows up. It's like, oh, everybody, baby daddy after them. No, my child's father is married, got his own thing going. So there are people who are in normal situations with people who have good sense, who have a lot to lose, who would never put themselves in that situation. You know,
Thank
we always think
you.
like everybody's in these ghetto situations, and that's not true. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Obviously, don't put yourself in harm's way. We got it. But understand that that's only a small minority of people. Most people are not living that way. And I would hope that you, the female that you're choosing, won't even put herself in that situation to even be with a man and have a kid by a man like this. So that's all I'm saying.
All right. Let's go ahead and get to the super chat right quick that came through. Gabrielle Smith Perry. Thank you, man. $5 says Ikene is lying about the part about children not loving stepfather. I absolutely adore my stepfather. He's the best thing that happened to me. I thank everybody that has contributed thus far. Let's go ahead and keep it moving. You want to say something, Jay?
Yeah, I just want to like I agree with Shan, and you have to be qualified to do that. If you're not, that's not for everybody. You know what I mean? Just because you may be attracted to a woman and y'all have a good relationship, a lot of chemistry, you still may not be qualified for that. You know, the next thing, question that I ask, like when somebody has an ex, I ask the question: if your ex got his shit together, you know what I mean? Like if everything that drove you away from him, if he corrected all those things, would y'all be back together? I always ask that question because I feel like, people will deal with you in hopes that their ex gets it together so that boom, they could go back and be a family. Most people would rather choose to be a family with the person they had a child with than to not, unless it's just like a one night stand situation. I think there's a preference, so I always ask if he corrected everything that you disliked him for, would you be back together or would you consider being back with them? And if the answer is yeah, then I know that what this is and I can skedaddle, or not invest anything serious into it, not waste my time.
All right. Appreciate that, Jay. I'm going to go ahead and keep it moving, man. So I ran across this video about this officer stole the man money. Did y'all see that video? I'm going to go ahead and play this clip, man, get you guys' response.
Come here. Do you mind? Come here. I'm tell you. I want you to come here. You know that. Okay. Do you see anything?
No, yeah, no cap. I'm not even gonna touch it. It's blue hundreds right here. It's all the blue hundreds are right there behind that receipt. Thank you. All that's my money. He didn't have that.
This is your money?
Yes, I heard him crumble it up. Thank you. All that's been recorded, right? That's my money. That's my money right there.
Sir, you've been watching me that whole time.
I seen you take it. I seen you crumble it up. Just
that
count
is
it.
not me.
If I'm right, it's gonna be around $1,000. If I'm right, and like I told you, I just went to Wendy's. I seen you steal. Thank you,
sir.
If you don't mind, I just want to sit down so y'all don't try to say I'm resisting. I don't want to do nothing. All I know for a fact is I know what I know and I've seen it. I just wanted you guys to trust me, you know what I'm saying? That's why I was just acting a little irate, but I'm perfectly fine, you know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to expose you.
That is not me, bud.
Brother, I just seen you steal my money. It was no reason for you to pop my rubber band, brother. It was no reason for you to pop my rubber band off my money.
I didn't pop your rubber band off your money.
I heard it. Me and you just spoke about it. You heard him agree to it when I first got it. I said, I heard you did rubber band. You said, oh, I had to do something. It's okay. It's okay. I know. I just witnessed here today. Mr. Chapman went in my money. He separated my money. He was trying to steal it, and I caught him. He put it in between his legs, and as his colleagues approached me, he worked it towards the door. He tried to make it seem like I was lying. I'm not going anywhere. I'm in full custody of these officers. I'm being detained. I'm not going anywhere. I don't want any problem. I'm not armed. I didn't do anything wrong. I was just pulled over for a traffic stop. He just tried to steal some of my money.
Okay, we're hearing you, but there's no need to say all of that.
I was just looking at the camera. No, I just know how it goes. You feel what I'm saying? I don't want to cause.
My camera's on the entire time. All right,
yes,
so let's take it down a notch.
Yes, ma'am. I apologize. I'm so sorry.
Here, okay?
Yes, ma'am. So what are we gonna do about this problem? Because he just tried to steal some of my money.
Sir,
and I'm not trying to put any allegations on him. I'm not trying to say anything. I'm not using my words like to try to hurt anybody. I just know what I know. And then I don't even like the fact, but I know you guys have like special protocol. I don't even like the fact that he just tried to steal and nobody like stood up for me. You feel what I'm saying? Like nobody was like, okay.
Nobody saw anything
but
that
I
you were
seen
saying,
everything.
but nobody saw anything that you said.
I appreciate it, Mr. Morris. You his sergeant.
Yes, he is my sergeant.
Sir, I have 20/20 and I can read. I remember when you called him out. I could tell you everything he said to you. Perfect timing. This was perfect. Perfect that you called me out this time because you didn't know the protocol to how a federal warrant was supposed to be taken care of. Correct and incorrect?
That's correct. That's the reason why I called him out to ask.
But you just separate. Whoa, so what was the purpose of you separating my money while you gave her money while you just watched her count my money out in full? Because you just wasted you wasted an evidence for it. Because now she has to rewrite a totally different number. So if I would have agreed to the number that I didn't know when she asked me, then I would have been like ridiculed or foreseen as a liar or something. That's why I didn't answer your question, ma'am, because I said that I had just went to Wendy's. I believe that's my receipt. I only ordered a 10-piece nugget and I ordered like a fry and something to drink, so I didn't know the actual amount of the money. All I know is when my girlfriend got off work at 5 o'clock, I was supposed to give her that money for the rest of the bills and she was going to get her car back. I was in a car this week. That's why I wasn't in my own car, man. That was my girlfriend's car, Diamond Alexander. That's why when you initially pulled me over, and y'all probably have my phones, you can see the call record. I called her at like 4 or something to let her know, babe, I'm being pulled over in your car. In my eyes, I thought it was going to be for the T-tag, temporary tag thing, the sticker. But like,
it was initially just for your speed, I promise you that.
No, I apologize, sir. I apologize. I'm just trying to do what I got to do. But I know for a fact what I heard. I have 20/20 vision. I'm not a criminal. I don't do things that I'm not supposed to. I heard him tampering with that rubber band.
Okay.
That rubber band was on that money because my girlfriend gave me the money this morning and told me I wasn't even supposed to be in her car. I just took it because I didn't.
So this happened back around March 14th, but we're not privy to this video. So the video has been released. A North Carolina police officer was arrested after he tried to steal $900 from a man he had detained during a traffic stop. According to Daily Mail, Officer Henry Chapman was arrested back March 14th and charged with 1 count of embezzlement following the incident in Charlotte. Body cam footage shows the crooked cop getting questioned by the man he detained over claims he stole his money. Chapman was fidgeting around in his patrol car, according to a police affidavit. And another sergeant went to investigate and pulled out around $900 from the driver's side door. I guess you would probably ask, why is that money in that door, right? The cop ultimately got his little ass arrested and was placed on unpaid leave. He ended up resigning the next day. He's set to appear next month to face the charges. I guess this is one of them incidents too. We'll be glad that we have the body cam footage because I'm pretty sure this has been happening. I do have a buddy that was chasing a suspect. He's a police officer many years ago. And he said the man was just dropping money, dropping money. He said he picked up a couple of dollars and put it in his pocket. So I'm pretty sure this is a common thing with police abusing their powers. And he just unfortunately got caught at this time. So I want to get you guys' thoughts about it. I'll go ahead and start with you, Shan. I seen you was really listening. It's your first time seeing this? Okay. So I want to get your immediate reaction, just hearing it.
He was a bold son of a gun. Like, what? Like, and then the receipt was still in it. Like, so the dude was able to tell you exactly what he ordered, and you ain't even, it was just, I mean, like, how do you even, he really didn't have to say much after that. Like, if you were one of the officers around, I'd be like, no, this bro didn't. Like, did he really just try to steal this man money? That is crazy to me. I can only imagine what the sergeant was thinking. He probably like, like, you know, and this is, I'm sorry to laugh. It's just crazy. Like, I've never seen no shit like this before in my life. Trifling. It's trifling. I'm glad that, should I stop talking?
No, I just want to see it. It was just funny. It was funny when you standing over there looking.
It's just crazy.
He looking.
The times is hard for the police department. You know what I'm saying? When you stealing money out of people's cars, man, times gotta be tough. You feel me?
It was like he was trying to cover it up. He was like, "Damn." And after hearing everything, the fact that it was inside his door. Now, if it was in his pocket, he could have probably said something along the lines of, he was going to put it in the packaging for evidence and held it. But he had it in his door, like he was just trying to discard it. And luckily, dude was paying attention.
I tell you what, I ain't gonna name no police departments, but a lot of people in the chat, and y'all know where I live. That's common practice. As a matter of fact, my homeboy's still trying to get, I think it was like $878 that just went missing out of the evidence locker. And this is the second time they pulled him over and detained him on the curb for a stop sign. And he had all his paperwork. He went back to his car. The money in his console was gone. Like rubber band, just like you talking about. So I'm just sitting here like, I'm glad they got cameras. I don't know why people worry about those cameras. I look straight into the camera and be like, yes, officer, I am reaching for my insurance, because who wants to be, who wants them to be able to hide what they're doing? My thing about it is his camera was gonna show him stealing it. So like, what was his thought process, sir? That badge be giving people some balls, don't it?
I think the thing you got to understand too is there's blind spots, and I'm pretty sure with him wearing that camera, he's fully aware of the blind spots, because we didn't see him take the money on there. I'm pretty sure they would have showed that. All we show is them getting it out of there. And if that suspect didn't see him doing that, then it would have never been a situation. It would have been just like, what are you talking about? Like, what money? And how do you know if there was money that was there or not?
All I know is that I'm very proud of the way that young black man handled himself, because he could have got irate. He was like, he was teetering between, nah, fuck this, and I'm gonna stay academic and let him know what my rights are. I saw you, sir, ma'am, sir. I'm glad they didn't try to tase him out of believing that his money got stolen and that they found it. No, look at the receipt. It's from Wendy's chicken nuggets. He thought really quick on his feet. So I'm very proud of that young brother for that, because it could have went another way. And we all know that.
All right, go ahead, Jay.
That was a perfect point, Cookie, in terms of his temperament throughout the whole situation. For one, he was articulate as he could be in that situation, knowing that he was correct. I heard this dude pop my rubber band. He said it way earlier in the video. Yo, I heard my rubber band pop, because he had money on both of the knots of money. He had a rubber band on both knots of money. They're just discarding him. They're ignoring it. No, what do you mean? I'm counting your money now. And, the white cop, the female, she tried to get him to comply with the amount that she was counting out. And he kept saying, no, I'm not going to agree to that amount, because I watched this dude steal. Now, while he was stealing and shifting it between his legs and doing whatever he was doing with it, they were focused on him. No, what are you talking about? He's sitting right here, blah, blah, blah. You know, they would focus on him. While they're focused on him, this dude is shifting. Luckily, the white female cop was aimed at the car door so she could see every movement. The camera picked up every movement the guy was doing when he was shifting. You know, and his eyes was like, oh, damn, this nigga caught me. Oh, I gotta hide this. Like, there's another part of this, you know, this video is probably like 24 minutes. You know, it's a lot longer than this clip right here. But you could see all the movements with the guy was shifting, and you could see where he's like, what? Damn, this nigga caught me. So he's trying to discard it. But like you said, Cookie, luckily he maintained his temperament. He was articulate to them. He's like, please, can we check? Can we look in the door? Check, you know. And then he asked the guy, he said, yo, man, the guy tried to empty his pockets and show him, like, I didn't steal your money. He was like, one thing I know is if somebody tried to steal, if somebody blamed me of stealing and I didn't steal anything, you're not searching me. You know what I mean? If you're accusing me of doing something that I didn't do, I'm not about to try to prove to you that I didn't do it. So man started going in his pockets because he knew the money was in the car door. So I could check on my person because I hid the money in the car door. Luckily, they opened it. They saw that money there. What they were trying to do was to get him to be outraged so that they could, you know, give him some extra charges. And once he saw that the money was stolen, he was like, yo, I'm gonna sit down so y'all don't flip out and say, oh, I'm irate and y'all could do something else or tase me or pepper spray me. You know what I mean? I'm gonna sit down, yo, you caught. So it was a breath of fresh air to see a black dude do that, where, you know, in a lot of other situations, emotions get the best of us, and he would have never got his money back, and he would have had a whole bunch of other trumped up charges.
That dude in the barbershop would have ended up with holes in him.
Exactly.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ikene.
Let me put it this way, right? These are the two biggest criminals on earth. Or let me just say in the United States. You see the police and the government. I'll tell you why. When you drive on the highway, do you know how many black men that have driven on the highway and they got pulled over by state troopers? And they have large amount of cash and they seize those cash. Almost half of those cars don't make it to the station. And then when they get to the station, they forfeit the remaining balance. A lot of state troopers, a lot of police officers steal from people all the time. They steal cash and they steal drugs. And then they turn around and sell it on the street. They sell it on the street. A lot of them do that. So this is not the first time. Only that this is caught on tape. But it happens all the time. In fact, TSA, do you know how many TSA officers that have been caught stealing from people's luggage? Right there at the stand. They notice through the scan that there is cash. They know where it is, right? And then what they do is that they reach out and slowly take their money away. Or they take a slice of it and you won't even know. They usually do it when it's a large amount of cash. They do it all the time on the highway.
Yeah, I mean, I can honestly believe it, man. I've been in a situation where uh, I've had something planted, and it wasn't the case. So I didn't have enough evidence, so they put matters into their own hands. They planted some things in order to create a charge. So I mean, it's a lot of crookedness going on when it comes. Not to say all, but there are some instances where, especially before body cams, this is why they conducted themselves. And I was in the era where they didn't have body cams, so it was my word against 4 or 5 different other officers. It's like they were going to try to bully you into finding something. They didn't find anything, then they will put something in there just so they can create a case. So,
And then, you know, it's common because of how he did it in that circumstance. You got 3, 4 other officers surrounding you, and you try to steal his money in that situation. Like, for one, you know your fellow officers have body cams. For two, your sergeant just rolled up. You did it in front of him. Like, because when he was handing the lady the money, he gave her the first knot, and then he popped the rubber band on the second knot and took that $900 and then gave her what was remaining out of, the money he took from. So the fact that broad daylight in front of your fellow officers, you do that, that shows you how common it is, because that's a bold move. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Definitely is.
It's very, very
Back to
common, but people don't know that shit is common. It's very, very common. Sorry about that. Cookie, go ahead, please.
back to what happened to you, JR. You know what really behooves me when they be planting stuff on people? Like y'all just riding around and getting it with drugs on y'all. So they probably took it from somebody else, tried to put it on you. Like it blows my mind the lengths that they will go to try to put black people in jail. Like that is insane, because that happened to one of my brothers. One of my brothers actually was doing that, but the other one was not. And they put something on him. I'm like, where are they pulling this from? Like, where are they getting these drugs to plant on people? So I'm assuming they stealing them from other criminals. That's crazy. That's a lot of accounting that you have to do, and if you go in internal affairs is auditing, they must be in on it too, because some ain't right. Because if you catch somebody with an eighth, you got to turn in their eighth and the eighth of the person that you planted. So how that work? You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It is crazy, man. In my situation, I didn't find out until after everything was put into play, and I seen all the evidence, and I said, I didn't have that. It's like they don't tell you what they
Or
put
no,
in
they
there.
don't.
You don't see it, and so and if I go back, that's why I said it might be important to have the knowledge of how to conduct yourselves, because by the time everything get rolled up, it's like, hey, these are the charges. How do you want to handle this? So it's one of those things that, yeah, I had some things, but some things I didn't have. And so those things that I didn't have, it's like,
Yeah, because if you had gone ape shit in the courtroom, they'd have been like, here we go. And yeah, so you calmly was like, I didn't have that. I don't know what they talking about. I don't know where that came from.
I mean, I
Oh,
was a little bit younger and probably didn't have the knowledge that I have now. So if I had
yeah.
the knowledge I had now, then I probably would have responded a different way. But like I say, things are moving so fast,
Mm-hmm.
you didn't know who to call. But then once they presented everything, and it's like, I didn't even know that they even put that together.
Mm. Tragic.
Go ahead, Jay. You want to say something? Okay. All right. I did have like one more video that I wanted to put into play. Just give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Just stall for me for like 2 minutes.
And the 4th of July coming around, so they got to fill a quota now. So y'all be easy out there.
Yeah, y'all know y'all's rights. The first 10 amendments save your life. That fifth one, don't abuse it too much though. Because if they ask you something, respectfully decline. You don't have to be Dave Chappelle declining. the fifth. The fifth. You ain't got to do all that, but you definitely don't have to tell them anything, because you can just ask for your attorney, even if your attorney is imaginary. Ask for your attorney till I need a phone call. If y'all is trying to plant something on me, because what's not about to happen is y'all about to accuse me of something that I didn't do. I was riding down the highway one time, and then like I'm a model citizen, jury duty, like I'm that person. Like I go show up, I either get picked or I don't. I was on a Fed case probably like 3 years ago. And that's the kind of citizen I am. They're like, oh, we want her, the teacher. Um, and I was driving down the highway probably maybe a year after that. And it was nighttime. It was late. It was Thanksgiving. And I was leaving my parents. And this cop tried to say that I was in the left lane for no reason. And I was like, I got in the left lane because you were speeding onto the highway and I wanted to get over out of your way. I don't know if you were on a call or what. So I got over to let you merge in and I was going to get behind you. So then it turned into a ma'am step out of the car. Search didn't have no attitude. It was just really late. And I was like, okay, I'm tired. What do you need from me? He's like, I need for you to step out of the car. Mind you, I'm a coach. So it's grass all over the I'm talking like real live cut grass, dead grass. Talking about is there any weed in the car? I was like, nah, man, I'm a teacher. Oh, his poise changed after that. I was like, I'm a coach. That's spikes, cleats, that's equipment, that's turf back there. But you're more than welcome to waste the kit and test it. You want to pop my trunk while you at it? That's what I asked him. I was sarcastic with him. I'm not gonna lie. But you know, women get away with more than men. Yeah, I'm only 5'6", so he looking down on me. I'm like, you can pop my trunk. It's nothing but miniature hurdles, cones, whistles, batons, everything a track basketball coach would have in here. No problem with that. He popped my trunk. He had all my stuff laying in the side of the road, and he pulled out the test kit and found out that it was Bermuda grass. And I told him, like, he said, well, ma'am, he tried to get an attitude with me. I was like, I need you to call your supervisor. Then he got scared. I was like, I need you to call your supervisor. This was a state trooper, by the way, because I'm on the interstate. So it wasn't like city police. Supervisor comes down there and he's like, what's happening here? And I gave him my ID. I gave him my work badge. I don't know. I was like, I know he putting all my stuff back in my trunk. That's what I wanted to call you about. I need you to make him put my stuff back in my trunk. He was like, yes, ma'am. Because, I mean, that's clearly grass on your floor. I don't know what he was doing. He harassed me. I could have went back to that county, not going to put him on blast, and sued them for harassment. He made him put everything back in my trunk. And he apologized on behalf. So you don't apologize for something somebody else did. He needs to apologize, but you don't have to make him apologize. I don't want him. I got in my car. I didn't even get a ticket. I was like, the reason I got over, sir, which his dash cam will show you, is because he was speeding onto the highway, trying to merge. So I got into the left lane so he would not hit me, and to let him on politely. He was like, we'll check all that. Just go ahead to your destination. And I'm sitting in the car on the way. I was hot. I ain't gonna come through searching through my car. I'm like throwing stuff all on the ground like it didn't cost money.
Yeah, that's how
I
I be
should have
on.
said, huh?
I said that's how I be on the highways, man. That whole carrot. They got stories for that too, man. It's
Yeah,
driving.
I'm a woman by myself. But you think I'm running chickens? No. Nah. Like, no.
I don't know, man. Like you could have been doing a little run for somebody.
Man, look, in the middle of the night with 5 plates of food in my car.
I mean, that's the best way. You know, you come in there. I'm just.
That is hilarious. Somebody did say, you make a great runner. I was like, boy, shut up. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, it's all soft stage, man. We need somebody low key.
No, thank you. Law-abiding citizen here.
There you go. I appreciate that. Hit the like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel to get into this last video. So this is about purpose and pleasure. Purpose and pleasure. I'm going to go ahead and play this clip. We get into it.
People are not paying attention to time and they're being robbed of their years through the sedative of pleasure. When fun is your focus and an obsession with entertainment causes you to discard responsibility, your endorphins and carnal nature will cause you to be oblivious.
I know sometimes the videos start, we miss a little bit. So let's make sure we tie into it. I want to take a pause just for that. Y'all ready? All right, here we go.
So many people are not paying attention to time and they're being robbed of their years through the sedative of pleasure. When fun is your focus and an obsession with entertainment causes you to discard responsibility, your endorphins and carnal nature will cause you to be oblivious to the reality of the shortness of seasons. If you're not careful, you will look up and have wasted years being involved in pointless activities, toxic relationships, and irrelevant practices that heist time from you. Understand, there's nothing wrong with creating joyous moments, having exciting participations, or engaging in delightful indulgences substances within the confines of integrity. But when that's the only thing you're focused on and it becomes priority over purpose, it's only a matter of time before you are in deep regret, a midlife crisis, or you're saying things like, where did the time go? This is what I know for sure. Maturity is not always an organic evolution. Sometimes it really is just making a conscious, intentional decision to choose the fulfillment of destiny over the gratification of the flesh. A young man that I was mentoring told me, man, it's so hard to focus on my purpose because I love these women. I said, boy, you better learn how to pick purpose over shoes and food.
All right. Purpose and pleasure. Purpose over pleasure. Purpose over pleasure. I think it's an important topic, man. I was having a discussion with somebody, and the average age that people live in America of man, I think it's the age 70, 71. And the average age that the man lived is 70, 71. Average age for a woman is 74. So if you're about 40, right? When they're 40, you ain't really got that much time if we're going off statistics now. There are some folks that make it into their 80s, into their hundreds, but you think about what a quality of life is to you. And the older we get, you're supposed to get wiser. Some folks are wise earlier than others, but we only got one life to really try to get this all together. We got to try to fit as many things as we can. And some people don't even have the energy. I've seen people start. Just look at Joe Biden, right? Somebody put up a video. I think it was Officer Tate. I ran across one of his clips, and he's a Trump fan, but he had Biden up there. He had him 5 years ago, and then 5 years later, and it was two completely different people. He had changed tremendously with age, and that's how some folks are now. Some people are 45 and they just move like snails. They just ain't got it how they used to be, man. So when we start to look over what's important in life, purpose over pleasure, I think this makes for excellent discussion. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start with you first, Shan.
I would assume that he means purpose as in, what do you think he means by purpose? Like just real fast.
I would say just focus on everything else besides the BS. So like whatever your purpose is in life, to focus on that. You living a fast life, you doing everything else, and all this shit is not even gonna really matter. You focus on the wrong things.
Well, I will say that you shouldn't focus on things that are toxic, right? But I do believe also that you should live your life. I think you hit it on the nail when you said, you have one life to live, right? You kind of want to have
When you say live your life, what does that mean? Live your life.
Your life to the point where there's business and then there's living your life fun, not in a toxic way, right? Enjoy family life, enjoy the memories that you create with people, enjoy your time doing things that you never thought you'd do. I do believe the toxic part, we know what I mean by toxic, that can be taken out, right? But I do believe that. So when I look at these old, they have those videos where you see older people and they say, what would you tell a person, now that you've lived your life, what would you say you would have done, better? And I think it was one guy who said, I would have taken more pictures and lived in the moment. And I hear a lot of that, living in the moment, enjoying the moment, right? But enjoying the moment does not mean indulging in different vices or doing things that are toxic. It could be enjoying the moment with your children because they're young, teaching them the right way to go, having family moments. Living in the moment can be you enjoying yourself, travel more with your children, travel more with your family. That's just for me. But and I think that is also a purpose. Like your purpose can be simply, creating generations to carry on what you've started. So that's how I look at it from my standpoint.
All right. Go ahead, Kane.
Yeah, I think Shan got it correct. I will just add to what she said, balance. You have to balance pleasure and purpose, because there are a lot of people that live their purpose, but their social life is just zero. And if there is any way to lose a woman like Shan, is to have a zero pleasure life. She be gone in a heartbeat. You see, so you're going to lose women for that. Yeah, life is not that serious, And I believe that Cookie will be gone too. She won't even be there in a heartbeat. Yeah. So you can you can't be that serious, man. Yes, you have to travel. When we say travel, it doesn't mean you have to fly. You can go out there, rent an SUV and take your family on a weekend trip across country. You be gone Friday morning and be back Monday morning. Because Enterprise, remember, not all Enterprise is open on Saturday. So you might not be able to return that SUV back if you want to save money. And on Sunday, they're definitely not open at all. So you can be gone. You can be gone Friday morning and by 12 o'clock, get out the SUV. You be gone on Friday. Go wherever you can, Chicago, uh, New Orleans, East Coast, West to East, and be back Monday morning and Monday at 12 o'clock. So we have to be able to balance life. We have to be able to enjoy our family. One thing is this, right? People break up in relationship because we don't listen to each other. I don't blame women only for what we go through. We have stubborn men. There are men out there that are very stubborn. You go to work 5 a.m. in the morning, you come back home 5 p.m. at night, and you go straight to sleep. You never have an off day. In fact, you get all the awards at work as somebody that never miss a day at work. But as soon as you're gone, they're going to replace your ass. But you can't replace your family. You cannot. So no matter how much you work, pick out a day, call your wife up and say, hey, honey, I'm coming home. We're going out of town. And I tell you, you think that woman doesn't love you? She will pack everything up in a minute, man, because she's ready to go. Women get excited about things that they get excited about sightseeing. The reason why this earth is beautiful is because of women. Left to men, we're still going to be living in caves and mountains. Disney World exists because of them. So we have to spend that money. We have to take them out. We have to take the family on the go. So guys, please, please, please. I don't own a job. I haven't worked for anybody in the last close to 10 years now. But I got to tell you this, right? Money never stops coming. Money is endless. As long as you have health and you're ready to work, money is limitless. They print that shit every day. So don't go overwork yourself for something that is endlessly printed. Take that money, spend it, enjoy your family, and you'll make it again tomorrow. I promise you that.
Yeah, well said. Go ahead, Cookie.
Without telling all my business, JR knows where I was last week. I wasn't on the show. So I was out unplugging. It's a place called Geronimo I was at, and we unplugged phones. Can't take with you. Zip lining, backpacking through the woods. It was amazing. I kind of agree with him. I believe that time is relative. You know what I mean? Like, I think people's obsession with time makes me sad because your obsession with time, how you spend it, what you're doing, you can't get it back. So why are we obsessing with um what other people doing with their time? On top of that, I don't care what you're doing with your time. I'm trying to make sure that my time is fulfilling. So, or my experience is fulfilling. So what I say is I agree with Akine when it comes to balance. Because obviously you have to make a living, you know. But you don't want to make a living to the part where you working and hunched over and then yay, happy retirement. They give you this ugly ass clock. And then that's it. You got about 5 good years left in your ticker. Not even good. 5 raggedy years left on the car. And then it break down and you die and you an ancestor at this point. So I mean, I guess it depends on what your definition of purpose is. That's one. And what your definition of pleasure is. That's two. So he uses those words very loosely. and very definite for himself, when in reality there's good things about both. You could be purposeful and have plenty of pleasure in your life, and have a good time. As a matter of fact, the more balanced it is, the slower the time goes. It's that purpose driven person that's like, what day of the week is it? You know what I mean? I know, because during coaching season, I'm asking my students what day of the week it is. You know what I mean? So I make sure during summer times like this, like I'm usually off the grid. You know what I mean? Like normally I wouldn't even be on the internet like this, like talking about. So it's an Olympic year though, so I'm gonna be watching TV, watching the Olympics. I might even go to Paris if my friends pull this trip off. I might go so to watch track. So I mean, I don't think that you should be, because life is about pleasure. So I don't want to say don't listen to the dude and be that person, but purpose shouldn't be over pleasure, and pleasure shouldn't be over purpose. They should be equal. You want your purpose to equal pleasure, if that makes sense, and you want your pleasure to equal purpose. If you can do that, time tick by slow. I get carded everywhere I go. People get, oh my God, here Cookie go again. I do. I get carded everywhere I go. First of all, because I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck what your purpose is unless you are in my immediate circle. I don't care what you're doing with your time. Like when they're like, y'all hate when men get with white black men get with white women. No, we don't. I don't care. Like I can't. I My dad used to get so mad at me until the end of his life when I used to tell him, I don't care what people think about me. And I genuinely don't. Will I clap
Oh,
back?
yeah.
Absolutely, because it's fun. Like that's part of the pleasure part. But do I care? Do I go cry in a corner because somebody said, "Oh, we don't like Cookie. Cookie's this. She's a masculine woman." Well, I don't care as long as my band likes
I
it.
don't
I'm
care.
fine. I don't. You right? Exactly. That's my. Anytime you can use that with for me. Anytime, because I don't care what you're talking about. You know what I mean? So I think once you get to a certain level of consciousness and growth as a human being, time don't even matter. Whenever it's time for me to leave this life, it could be in a car wreck. It could be that a plane that's crashing falls on my condo and kills me. I know that I did and was doing, I was a good person. I minded my business. I treated people kindly most of the time when they were kind to me. And that I did everything that I wanted to do when I wanted to do it. I set goals that I got to accomplish. It may not have been all of them, but it was my time to transition. So this purpose over pleasure shit can drive somebody mad, I think. Um, so I think more or less I would go with purpose equals pleasure and pleasure equals purpose. Because if not, you living in the matrix.
All right. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, I guess with the pleasure that he was speaking of, he made the comment, the flesh is weak, So I'm assuming that his definition of pleasure was, sexual. So I would say you want to make sure that your purpose is not pleasure, or not just rooted in pleasure, because that's when, that's a lot of the stuff that wastes your time. That's when you miss out on enjoying being in the moment, traveling, enjoying things when you're so focused on, just being gratified sexually. Because, that's how I took his definition of pleasure, not really what you were speaking on, Cookie, in terms of, experience in life. That is pleasurable, but I don't think it was the same pleasure he was referring to. But I do think you can waste a lot of time with that. And with life, like all of you have mentioned, balance is the main ingredient. That is the hardest thing to gain. When you gain it, you don't appreciate it while you have it. I've never been actively balanced and enjoyed it. I've only appreciated it and enjoyed it once I was no longer in it. You know, I would look back and be like, damn, that was a good time. You know, those were a good 5 months or 6 months. And then, you know, it was back out of balance again. Something went up while the other thing suffered. You know, so I think that's one of the things, maintaining balance and being in the moment. Being in
Put
the
y'all
moment.
phones down sometimes. My when I was ziplining and in the forest, my phone was in a locker like for like hours.
Yeah, that'd be a good way to separate. What's going on, brother Hink? Let me just play the video one more time, man. Did you see the video?
No, I was in transition, so no, I did not. Could you play it again, please?
So many people are not paying attention to time and they're being robbed of their years through the sedative of pleasure. When fun is your focus and an obsession with entertainment causes you to discard responsibility, your endorphins and carnal nature will cause you to be oblivious to the reality of the shortness of seasons. If you're not careful, you will look up and have wasted years being involved in pointless activities, toxic relationships, and irrelevant practices that heist time from you. Understand, there's nothing wrong with creating joyous moments, having exciting participations, or engaging in delightful indulgences within the confines of integrity. But when that's the only thing you're focused on and it becomes priority over purpose, it's only a matter of time before you are in deep regret, a midlife crisis, or you're saying things like, where did the time go? This is what I know for sure. Maturity is not always an organic evolution. Sometimes it really is just making a conscious, intentional decision to choose the fulfillment of destiny over the gratification of the flesh. A young man that I was mentoring told me, man, it's so hard to focus on my purpose because I love these women. I said, boy, you better learn how to pick purpose over shoes and food.
All right.
So let me say shout out for Cookie for speaking for the women and what the women should be doing. Right on. But as for men, especially if you're a single man with no family or married, or you're not married with no kids, focus on you being the best version of yourself. That should be your purpose. So if you know part of your best version is probably maybe you're out of shape, you need to get in shape, then do what you need to do. Get a nutritionist, get a trainer, get a membership. And if you can't afford a membership, hey, use the local parks and free spaces that you can. You know what I'm saying? There are plenty of YouTube exercises you can do that will definitely help you. Online social media has plenty of opportunity to get free workouts, but you got to be motivated, and that's got to be part of your purpose. If you know your income is not where you want it to be, and you know you need to step your game up financially, then do what you need to do. If it means you need to get a couple jobs until you get a better first job, until you get that certain certification that's going to help you get a better job, until you get that degree that's going to help you get that better job, or till you get that experience that you need to get a better job, then do that. But as men, our purpose got to be bigger than just getting a piece of ass. That shit's a dime a dozen. That's going to be there. Why is that your purpose? Yes, they are beautiful. Yes, they are sexy. Yes, they smell good. Yes, they feel good. Yes, they taste good. All the above. But at the end of the day, man, all that means nothing if you ain't got your shit together. So when you are ready to settle down, you have something to settle down with. So when you are ready to create a family, you have a financial stability to create a family with. You have a home in order to bring your family into, to raise your family in, or to even create a family. All that means nothing to get a shot of ad for 20 goddamn minutes. That don't mean anything. You can get that anytime, any place. A homeless man getting ass. In case y'all didn't know, homeless folks out here getting ass. What the fuck is that saying? It's not saying anything. It just shows how valueless it is. So guys, be the best version of yourself. And whatever means you got to do to get it, then get it. Don't allow a woman to be your focus. Don't allow the irrelevant things or this overflashing materialistic shit. Don't let that be your focus. You know, if that means your friends got nice cars and you riding around in a Nissan Maxima and it's 12 years old, so be it, man. Ride that motherfucker till the wheels falls off till you can afford to upgrade yourself. Don't go out there overexert yourself knowing you can't pay that $400 to $500 or $600 car payment, but you try to keep up with the Joneses. Why? For what? So a chick can look at you? and then she gonna laugh at you when she see your bank account statement. Oh, that means nothing, man. Get your shit together, man, fellas. Do what you gotta do.
I like that. What are you gonna? What were you thinking?
Yeah, you know what Hing just said right now is very, very, it's sad, man. I remember when I was in college, right? I bought this car just for fun. But man, I tell you, every month after the 8th month, I was struggling to make that payment, man. And I didn't have any reason buying that car, brand new car. And that was a big lesson that I learned that a car should not be more than 10% of your income. Car payment shouldn't be more than 10% of your income. But it's very sad that we don't learn. But one thing is that the one thing that I'm going to say, just to add to what you said, Hink, is that women are promotable or promable or some whatever it is, programmable. They are programmable. The reason why they are programmable is this, right? If you're a man that lives a moderate life but you have money in your account, a woman will rock with you. If you're a man that is broke but you have a flashy lifestyle, a woman will rock with you. But at the end of the day, she will not stay with you if you cannot afford to sustain that lifestyle. So whichever lifestyle you have is the lifestyle she rocks with. If she agrees with you at the very beginning, stay the way you are. If you didn't have it and she comes and accepts you, rock like that. Don't try to then go tomorrow to become a killer of many or to become the biggest hunter. She never met you as a hunter. But if she says she saw potential of you being a hunter and you know you're never going to be a hunter, big guy, start running, man, because she's going to leave you because she had a different view of you that you're never going to become and you never was interested of becoming. So what I'm saying in essence is this: when you don't have it, you just don't have it. But don't go and kill yourself to have what you can provide or what you can sustain. Period.
All right. You guys got another
So,
15 minutes?
yeah, I got time. I'm here. I'm here now. Yeah, let me
Okay.
ask you a question.
Go ahead.
About that video, what is your opinion about that? You know what I'm saying? Because when I think about purpose and go out there and get what you need, I'm not just talking about financially. You know, you got to be mentally. You got to be mentally right. You got to be mentally wealthy, emotionally wealthy, for you to bring a certain standard to a relationship, a certain stability to a relationship, and especially when you're about to have kids or you try to create kids or create a family. You have to have some type of emotional and mental stability about yourself. Because the worst thing you could do is turn around and create a family and you got a bunch of kids who are emotionally unstable. Why? Because the daddy's emotionally stable. Because the mama's emotional. So now you're creating a bad situation for the whole. I mean, as a whole, the family as a whole. And that's not good. So make sure your guys are emotionally stable and mentally all well together. And not just all the way in your pockets. But my question for you, what do you think about the video? I'm sorry, JR.
As far as me, man, I mean, when he said it, I was thinking along the lines of not getting distracted on not valuing what everybody or most of the world values, which is like sex, money, and everything else. Just making sure that you tap back into your purpose, whatever your purpose may be. So don't focus necessarily on the pleasure things, but the important things. So that's what I kind of took away from the video. I think family is one of the most important things that we have not mastered yet. We have not mastered communication. We have not mastered how to raise our children, and we have not mastered our emotions. Those are just some of the things that I know that we have not mastered. You really have to sacrifice. I think I spoke about this on King Talk. You really have to sacrifice a lot when it comes to parenting. So whenever you bring children into the world, uh, both man and woman have to be able to show up in a particular type of way, which means that you're going to have to eliminate some of those pleasure moments and them urges in order to make sure that that child is raised the way it's supposed to be. And if you got children, it's the same way. I know people that only have one child and they're struggling. So just imagine having multiple children and being able to like multitask and handle everything to be able to make sure that they get what they need. But most children don't have what they need. Most children don't have the emotional support. Most children are lacking in so many areas. And because we don't even know what that is, we're constantly creating the same cycle and raising the same type of children. And that's the reason why the world is the way it is now and our community is the way it is because we're not making a difference in our homes first. And we got to look towards the future. We can't worry about grown folks and what grown people are stubborn. A lot of people don't want to change. A lot of people are afraid to change. A lot of people are afraid to take risks. So you trying to change somebody that's completely grown, it's just not going to happen. It's just not idea. The most logical way to be able to make change to me is within your home. Change yourself first and then make sure you change and push that change within your household and hopefully the world will be a better place. That's your job.
Yeah, and Gerald, to build off what you just said, right on, man. I'm gonna let that breathe a little bit. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk over that, but that was fire. But to build off what you said, I left the show. When y'all see me, I was at the park even trying to talk. I said, man, I can't keep doing it because now nothing against Jay on the show. I love the show, but my son and my family is more important. So I got to put my priorities right. So I said, let me log off because I'm not giving the show my full 100% like I should, like it deserves. But I'm here to support my son. So I had to make sure I was there to support my son. He's seen me rooting for him, cheering him on, encouraging him, as well as his teammates, because that's what it's all about, family. When I decided to have my son, or when I decided to have my daughter, it's not about me no more, guys. When you decide to have kids, it's not about you. I know you want to continue to have a good time. I understand. That selfishness kicks in. But then at the end of the day, you got to think about it's not about me anymore because I made a decision to create a child, to create a legacy. And if that's the case, that means I may need certain sacrifices. I know we want to go out and have a good time and turn up, but that means I may need to come in early because I know I got to get to work because in order to work, I got to continue to eat. If I don't work, I don't eat. It means my family's not being fed. Shame on me as a man. I got to continue to put food on my table because I got to go to work. If that means certain sacrifices I got to make, it means maybe my weekends are not like free like they used to. So be it. Because I'm looking at the bigger purpose, the bigger picture. I'm looking at and making sure I take care of the decisions that I made, and that's my family. Whether it's my wife or my kids or any extended family that I consider family. And if they depend on me, hey, I need to be there for them and make sure I'm doing what I need to do. So like you said, Jay, our family is very important. Unfortunately, I think we got away from it. We Black folks used to be big on family. There was no thing to have a get together on Sunday for Sunday dinner. You know, you could have had a falling out at church that Sunday morning where, somebody's talking about somebody's crown. Man, your grandmother's crown was looking crazy. Why was she wearing that hat like that? That ugly ass dead flower she got in her crown on Sunday. But guess what? We're going to get together. We're going to laugh and joke about it at the kitchen table while eating a plate of chicken and greens and with some cornbread. You understand what I'm saying? That's what we're going to do. We used to do that at family. We come together. Wasn't no big deal. I didn't know, people didn't always know your neighbors 2 street over. But guess what? We'll get to know them. We'd be wanting to go over and bring them some type of dish or something. Welcome to the neighborhood. That's how we used to. Now, we so individualistic, we don't even give a damn people don't even know who the next door neighbor is, let alone 2 streets over. I'm just saying.
I think you made some valuable points, man. Jay, I know you gotta head out, right? All right. Hink and you want to stick around. I'm just play this one last clip, man. And
I got time.
Yeah, I know. See if I can get us going.
I'm gonna say Eakin ain't got no life either, so he good.
It's too hot outside out here, man. Probably trying to stay cool.
Man, it's hot outside. I ran back in. I couldn't even drive. Like I was coming from somewhere, man. It was even hot in my car.
All right. So this one is about emotional support from the father. So we're going to just discuss importance of the fathers and just trying to see if your father, the role your father played in your life. And then we'll go ahead and just have a candid conversation.
Take 2 steps forward if you grew up with your father in your household. Take 2 steps forward if you grew up with your father actively involved in your life. Take 1 step forward if your father provided emotional support. Take 1 step forward if your father supported your educational or career aspirations. Take 2 steps backward if your father created a toxic environment at home. Take 2 steps backwards if you had to be the man of the house. Take 2 steps backwards if your father's actions negatively impacted your sense of self-worth. Take a step forward if you could call your father right now. Take a step forward if your father demonstrated love and affection continuously. Take a step forward if you had regular, meaningful conversations with your father. Take a step forward if your father provided emotional support and guidance. Take a step backward if you felt neglected or ignored by your father.
If you just look around, you'll just see how each of us had different relationships with our father. And the purpose of this was just for the world to see and for each other to see like how we all come from different circumstances. But nevertheless, we all are successful. We didn't let us having our father there or not having our father there impact or affect how we chose to grow as individuals and how we chose to make things happen. Because some people, they'll look at it and use that as an excuse. Like, I'm still back here and you guys are already up there. But it didn't change how I look at life. It didn't change my outlook on myself and my self-worth. So I do want people to do this exercise and take this exercise and use it and look at it like, okay, if Milan had this circumstances and she still became successful and she still look at life and she's still optimistic about everything, I can do the same thing too. If Alex was able to create the energy and grow a multi-million-dollar brand without his father, I can do that too. It doesn't negate the fact that he probably feel a certain way about his father, but he didn't let those feelings overpower and overshadow him from becoming the man that he is today. So that was the purpose of this exercise.
All right. I want to ask you guys, like, what was your relationship like with your father, Ikene?
Yeah, my father was a great man. I think the day he was buried last year on the 9th of April, a lot of people called him a great man. But when you also look at certain things in the house, he had a lot of shortcomings, which I understand now of his shortcomings. But before, I would say in my teen life, I was at many times mad at my dad for so many things, that transpired, which means his shortcomings maybe financially, but in terms of advice, he was a great man. He gave me so many advice that I am glad that Obama wasn't my father. I am glad that Bill Gates is not my father. I am glad that so many men out there are not my father, that my father is my father. If I'm to come to this world again all over to a man that doesn't really have that much financially, I will still come back through my dad. I pray to God I will come back through him because you know why? He was a great man. So, one thing that we don't understand when we're younger is that we think that our fathers are supposed to be omnipotent, omnipresent, that they're supposed to provide everything without questions asked. And then we forget that this is just one man with all this pressure. He didn't create this world. He came to this world just like we came. He was born into it. He grew up just like we grew up. He had all disappointments through his own father, just like we had through him. He's still a human being. So my father, I remember like so many times that I would go through a lot of things as a child. He would call me and talk to me. He never hit me for one day. My mom hit the crap out of me every day. But my dad never touched me for one day. But he was more impactful in my life because of his teachings, his guidance. I learned from his shortcomings because his shortcomings are a blessing to me. So that's what it is. So he was a great man.
Okay. What about you, Hank? How was your relationship with your father?
You know, I shared it before. Uh, it wasn't financially. He was always there, you know, and even when my mother and father was married, he was like distance. It just was like he just was not emotionally there, and so I seen where it comes from because I was able to. My grandfather lived long enough where I was able to meet him, so I understood where it came from and why he or where he learned it from, because his father wasn't like that. So it's understood why it happened. Uh, for years, I used to envy when I was a kid when I didn't really understand how teammates, other schoolmates, and other people who had fathers, I would see them and I would just be envious of them, jealous of them, bitter, because I didn't have that. I didn't have that opportunity to have my father in my life like they was getting. Like when your father needed you for when you financially struggling, you know, or just going through some shit and you just need somebody to talk to. I didn't have that. I couldn't just pick the phone up and do that, or at least I felt like I couldn't. If it wasn't for my father figures like my grandfather and my uncle, who is my dad's brother, ironically, who was always there for me, you know, gave me opportunities, poured into me, you know, going to his barbershop. He had a barbershop and he would cut hair and I would go over and clean up, hang out. Sometimes when I'm not even working clean up, I just hang out because I ain't got shit better to do, nowhere else to go. If I was going somewhere, I was being in the street and doing some trouble. And he seen that, the path I was about to go down. And so he seen his nephew doing that and he poured into me, brought me in and was teaching his education. I mean, just on Mondays. You know, he's coming out to the country, man, and just sitting us down after his last haircut, and he's just pouring into us. You know what I'm saying? Kicking us knowledge, man. And even when I stayed with my mom, I would go over his shop on during the week, and he would just educate you. And other elders there would just pour into me and just teach me and be mentors me. You know, taught me how to be a man, how to operate, how to act, how to carry yourself. Those two individuals was a big influence in my life, and I seen that, and I learned from that. Now, I have a cordial relationship with my father now. We talk, we interact, we have fun. We, like I said, we text, and he's engaged with with his grandkids, you know, which is my son and my daughter. He's involved, and I appreciate that. I wish I had. I'm jealous of them because I ain't had what y'all said, man. Look, y'all blessed. That's all I'm saying. This the dude right here, you know, I don't know this dude. Y'all do. I don't know him, but I do appreciate what he's doing now. Now, there's other forces behind why it happened. I'm not gonna get into that, but a father's very important. And every time I see a father doing what he needs to be doing as a man, I make sure I give him props, regardless of what it is. Because you know the world don't do that for us. We know this past June, a couple weeks ago, we see no commercial for fathers. If you did, it's probably goddamn Home Depot commercial, or somewhere you could buy a damn tie. Shout out to JR for having his Father's Day gifts he was giving out. Assume man, Assured Man. I'm sorry, Assured Man. Shout out to them. But for the most part, there's not a lot of publicity and advertisement for fathers. For some reason, I don't know why. We're just not getting the props that we deserve. And do we deserve props? Yeah, we want to be appreciated. I always say you got to do it all the time, but we want to be appreciated. You know what I'm saying, JR? So, I was at my son's game, and I keep talking about it. I was ready to leave. My son said, "Daddy, I love you." He didn't have to do that. He's in front of his boys, in front of his teammates, in front of other people. But he just went. He's not embarrassed to say that. Why? Because I poured that into him. Because I would embarrass you. I love you, son. I love you. And I used to make him say. I say it about 3 or 4 times, and he would mumble, "I love you, Dad." I can't hear you. What'd you say? But now it's just like second nature, no problem. Because I want my son to know that he loves. I want my daughter knows that he loves. I want my granddaughter knows that I love him. And there's nothing wrong to hear "I love you" from a man. It doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you less of a man because you tell your kids you love them. There's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely. And I heard you mention you say your father wasn't around. So did you have a role inside your house with your mom? Like, were you the man of the house?
I spent more time with my grandparents because my grandfather was a father figure in my life that I needed. My mom couldn't handle me. I was bad, JR. I wasn't shit as a kid. So, and she had 2 of them. So there's no way my mom could handle 2 young boys, So I spent more time with my grandmother than my mom.
Okay. Well, I'll speak on my father's situation, which Ikene knows a little bit about, and I've mentioned to you before. My biological father was not in my life. He is Nigerian. He was present early on at a young age. I'll probably say maybe up to about 5 or 6, something like that I can remember. And then after that, he would just call maybe once, twice, 3 times a year. And then the calls stopped maybe age 10, 11, 12, somewhere around that time. But my father figure was my grandfather. And I had to play the role as the man of the house. So I kind of grew up a little bit before my time because I had to make sure that I held down my mother. And I also had to make sure that I held down my sister. And when it comes to my mother, she was an alcoholic. So a lot of times I had to take on as the parent and the man of the house because a lot of times she wasn't present. Now she did have some positive moments. She was able to keep me within a Catholic elementary school from kindergarten to 8th grade. So that's where I probably got my foundation from, even though we grew up in low poverty in the projects of the city of Chicago. I come from a 1-bedroom cement brick, 14-story project housing with public assistance and grew up with the bare minimum. So everything that I have that you see today, I had to work for it. I had to learn everything the hard way, and I had to grow up before my time mentally and physically. I had to endure some times where I had to protect my mother from myself, and I had to protect my mother from certain men that I didn't want around her. So I was getting into physical altercations and making sure that I let it be known, I don't want you, not welcome here. So shout out to my grandfather, man. My grandfather was the one that instilled a lot of how to be a man, how to hold down a house. Now, when it came to women, he didn't teach me that. I learned that myself. But as far as the experience and making sure that I'm real handy, anytime there's a situation in the house, the man responds to it, make sure the women don't worry about it or worry at all. The only time we let them know something is if we really ain't got no choice. Other than that, if we sense a problem, we handle it and we just brush it up under the rug. They need to know nothing about what's going on inside the house or outside the house when it comes to the man's responsibility. He taught me how to maintain the grass, making sure that grass stay green. Anytime that there was an issue, he would call me to it and say, I need you to learn this because I ain't gonna always be here. So I need you to know what to do in case I'm not here. So he'd be like, to this day, he's still living in his 80s, but I was hearing that when I was about 11 or 12. I had to go to the furnace. I had to learn how to operate that. I had to do the plumbing. I had to do the sub pumps. I had to do everything on the outside. You name it, we was tackling. Grandma handled everything that was inside the house and all the cooking. My grandma made sure that my grandfather's plate was fixed first. She made sure if he wanted something that was separately cooked, that he liked in particular, away from everybody else, and he had whatever it is that he needed. But so I kind of, I mean, that's just a little bit about me, about as far as how I grew up. I don't think my father's living, and Ike knows that as well. I don't think he's living because the phone calls wound up eventually stopping. I used to have a lot of hate for him when I was growing up, but eventually I wanted to learn a little bit more about my culture. So it was a point in time where I just forgave him, and I didn't have any anger or bitterness towards him. But it's very little information that I knew about him. And my mother don't know too much information as well. I think my mother was pretty difficult to deal with at the time. She was young and you couldn't tell her nothing. So pretty sure he wasn't dealing with it. I think my father probably might have had another family somewhere, but I guess I would never know now unless I wind up finding some more information out about it. But he did tell me I have some more brothers and sisters in Chicago. I just don't know who they are. So fatherhood for me was just, it is what it was. I became a father at a young age. And the one thing that I can tell you is that I learned something differently with each one of my child. I have 3 children. And so my youngest was the one that probably need the most if I look back at it. So even though I was a father, I stepped up and did what I had to do. And I was a single father at the time. I did what I knew what was best. Even though I knew I was a great father, there are some things that I look back on that I sure could have done better. You know, my daughter's my daughter, but then my youngest, he's the one that's benefiting from all the experience that I have. I would say he has the most fulfilling when it comes to parenting and being a father. I think he's benefiting the most. So that's how I'm able to give some experience as far as what it means to be a parent. Like you really have to sacrifice, because now I'm at a place where I'm able to put together the 2 points together. Like a father is very necessary. Parents are necessary, but a father is very necessary when it comes to this children. And when you start to put everything together and you can understand the value that you impose on these kids, man, it's needed. So if you out there lacking, if you out there not making no phone calls, if you out there not participating in the sports, not making the games, not just being there even when it comes to having a phone call with them, step up and do the right thing, because these kids need us. In order for us to be able to make a difference, we got to make a difference within our kids. Don't worry about what you ain't been doing. Worry about what you're going to do moving forward, because that's where it's at, man. And the kids didn't actually be here. The kids did not actually be here. They don't know what's going on. They only know what they are exposed to. So if you're going to give them some exposure, give them some exposure that you can control. Because if they out there getting exposed to everything else and you don't know what they're getting involved with because you ain't talking to them and they just living life and figuring it out, sometimes it don't work out the correct way. I was lucky. I was lucky to be able to be a little bit more self-aware, and given the circumstances and experiences that I've gone through, I think I turned out pretty well. But it ain't guaranteed for the next person. So when we speak about our situations on these panels, and even us just being vulnerable right now, understand that it took some work to get to where we are right now. You know, I appreciate you, Hank. I appreciate you, Ike. Even though we may not agree on everything, it's still our experiences, and hopefully somebody can get some understanding to perhaps their situation.
Well, look, shout out to you, JR, and the way you you set this up was brilliant, because we went from talking about a man who's divorced and going through his issues with that divorce and how it hurt him from dealing with his family, to watching I don't know if you really want to call a man a stepfather, but a boyfriend who's decided to step up and be some type of father figure in his son's life, but yet the biological father had an issue with it. To this clip right here at the end, talking about how these individuals was find a way to push through even with a lack of father in their lives and be successful in whatever realm they are successful in. So shout out to you for that, JR, man, because again, like you said, fathers are very important. A father who is involved in their kid's life will create some type of structure, stability, discipline when need to be, consistency when and there's when it comes on and things are chaotic. We've seen that. Anybody who has a father who was in their life, we've seen how the kids will be so chaotic, they around, jump around, having the food, enjoying themselves, being kids, right? But then daddy come home, oh shit. He walked through that door with that uniform on, with the steel-toe boots still on, mad and frustrated with a smile on his face. All of a sudden, he get quiet in the house. Mama look around. It ain't been quiet all goddamn day. But as soon as that dude walked through, shit, we know what it is. He kicking them boots off, ready to sit down on the couch, watching 6 o'clock news, ready to drink a beer. And y'all better not say a word. Leave that man alone, because he's in the zone. He needs time to compress for that all day. That white man that worked his ass hard. He ready to relax. He ain't trying to hear a lot of bullshit. And whatever stress and needs to be taken care of, give me about an hour or two. I'll address it. But it better not be no foolishness, because daddy ain't playing.
Absolutely. Any final thoughts, Ikenek?
Yeah, my final thought is that you guys are all doing great, man. Because I got to tell you one thing, JR. I don't know how much of a father that I can be if I didn't really have a father experience. Because if you see, like my daughter, right? Every single day, raising her up is because of the father experience that I had. For those men out there that are good fathers today, maybe you made one or two mistakes by one or two kids and you got it right for the third or subsequent ones. But just you being there, doing what you can do without no playbook. Because the thing is this, there is no playbook on how to raise kids. There is no textbook on it. Because every child is an individual experience, but you can carry along from maybe in the past experience or to the past experience and then to shape the future or the next child. You can carry along on that, but they are all unique. So when I see men like you, JR, that are able to do this, man, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. A lot of folks fall out of cracks for that, but for you and very few of you out there that were able to stand and we stand the pressure and we stand all that life throughout you to still be a father, to still remain in your sons and daughters' lives. Man, you guys are the GOAT. Not us that have the playbook or that were given or that had the opportunity to be raised by one. I'm not going to say that I could have done it, but you guys are the GOAT. You guys are the ones that deserve every single accolade because it's not easy, man. It's not easy. Like when I see dads out there that are doing those great jobs without their dad being there, in fact, they're the good, man. I can't say more because this is tough.
Yeah.
Jay, let me say this. My woman just texted me, let me know dinner's ready. Right then and there, that's a level of appreciation. She appreciates a good man. Make sure there's a hot plate. As soon as the show's over, there's a hot plate up there for me. There's little things you can do to show your man, your husband, the father, your kids, a father, you love them. Sometimes it's just fix them a hot plate. You fix them a hot meal. Tell them, hey, I appreciate the little things that you do. The little things. I mean, and it's not always acknowledged or recognized, but just saying you appreciate. You ain't got to go into detail with it. Just saying you appreciate who you are as a person, as a man. That goes a long way for us fathers, as men who are out there struggling and fighting every day to do the little things in life. That goes a long way. That really sets a tone for that man for the week. That man, that man going through a hard week. Just tell him how much you appreciate him. Now that man might not even smile on a regular basis, but I bet a smile will come across his face, and his eyes will light up, and he'll probably give you a nod. Hopefully, say, "I thank you for the appreciation." Hopefully, he does that. Hopefully, he's not like eking an asshole and don't appreciate it like that. But some dudes are like that. You just pray for him. That's all I can tell you.
All right, what's going on, Miss Shanza Swift?
Hey, how y'all doing?
Doing wonderful. How you doing?
Okay. I know y'all ready. You ready to end the show? Hello to everybody. Hink, I'm Mr. Ekene and Jr. I just want to speak on the topic a little bit. I know you ready to wrap it up. On stepfathers and dads. I guess the stepfather that I had, if I can, real quick.
Yeah, go ahead. You good?
Okay. All right. So my stepdaddy raised me because I know I was in the comment section talking about it. But one thing that he taught me, as far as him having a mean streak and stuff like that. At first, I saw him as a bad person, but then as I grew up and as we were growing up, stuff like that. We grew up with like 8 of us at one time. He has 5 of his kids on his side, and then my mom, of course, us. It was 3 of us that he took on, in the marriage or whatnot. But anyway, because my father, he deceased when I was 9, I think, somewhere around there. Anyway, I always thought he had a mean streak and he was a mean person, which he was, at times. And they were on drugs for a short amount of time, and they got off of it. It's both their testimony to tell. My mom will tell hers, my stepdaddy won't. Anyway, that was that. But one thing I did realize is he fed us all the time. We had 3 meals a day. I don't know how he did it. Grace to God. I don't know if he prayed or not, stuff like that. I know sometimes, once a person knows that a man is a bad man or something like that, it's some qualities to that man that somebody instilled in him to always take care of your kids, no matter what, even if they're not yours, because he chose to, take on us. He always fed us. He always made sure more had money for us and stuff like that. Even though he was a drug addict, even though he was on alcohol and stuff like that, for a period of time while we were growing up. And one thing he did show me is he stayed throughout the marriage with my mom. He's still with her now. Like I said, if we experienced anything, it was probably just mainly just verbal abuse, stuff like that. But like I said, he didn't have the tools when he was growing up. Obviously, now that we're grown, we can understand some things, whatnot. But he was, as far as that, he was I guess considered a bad man, but he did have some qualities that I do appreciate now. He stayed through the worst of the worst, and he always made sure he fed us. I always remember that with my stepdaddy, whatnot. But like I said, I just wanted to speak on that little part right there.
I appreciate that story that you just got through putting it all into perspective. I did see you in the chat, and it's good to get the context behind it.
Yeah.
Right on.
Y'all have a good Sunday.
Go ahead. I was going to say something to Angela before she moves.
Okay.
Oh, Hink, you about to say something? Go ahead, Hink.
No, I'm just saying, take her. I thought she was about to leave.
Okay. The verbal abuse, right?
Yeah.
I don't like to call it verbal abuse because one thing that I understand when I first moved to America is this, right? There is always coded word for everything, both positive or negative.
Mm-hmm.
It is not verbal abuse. The thing is that a man's command goes through his voice, his chord. You see that chord? He has to raise his voice because that's the only way it brings about order. If a man speaks feminine, he's not going to be effective. He has to raise that voice to be effective because it's natural. The reason why I say this, Angela, is because this, right? God created men to be like that, and it should stay that way. Men project their voice. They can say things to you because they believe that they've said it so many ways, but you're not getting it. And then they resort in certain way to make you get it. And then when that hurts your feelings, you turn around and say that was a verbal abuse.
Yeah.
Abuse to me is something that has to do with somebody doing something that really harm you for a long time that doesn't bring any positive results.
Yeah.
If it doesn't bring positive results, that is an abuse. But something that brings positive results to your life by keeping you out of trouble, by keeping you out of certain things, or maybe that person is using their mistakes to
It did.
correct you because he's made a mistake in life, right? So
Yep.
now you're making the same mistake he's made, and he's trying to tell you not to make it, but you're kind of forcing yourself away from him, and now he goes crazy. That is not a verbal abuse. That's correction.
Okay, so real quick, let me ask you this. Okay, so if he doesn't get, they didn't get their drugs sometimes. So we, we were there. We saw this. We saw their behaviors and whatnot. Um. Okay, so if they don't get their drugs, they come home. He verbally, whatever, uh, talks derogatory towards my mom.
Out of
Then she,
frustration, out of frustration.
yeah. Okay, out of frustration. Okay, so what was the difference?
Oh, that is an abuse because it doesn't bring anything positive to your life.
It didn't.
Remember, anything that doesn't add positivity to your life or doesn't add positivity to the next person standing next to you that overheard that, that can become an abuse. Because guess what? You can take frustration of your addiction on me. No, that is an
Yeah,
abuse.
and that's why I was
Yeah.
saying what was the difference, because we knew it as because I had to grow up a little faster because I used to have to watch all my brothers and sisters at one point. It wasn't like they was just strung out, all over the house and they had people in the house. It wasn't like that. They were quiet addicts, if that makes sense. But anyway,
Mhm.
they were quiet. They didn't go outside. If he did, of course it was a certain place he went. We kind of knew where he went. He was always over a certain person's house and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
like I said, once he came home, we had to experience him. Now we experienced him as through verbal.
Mhm.
I could tell he was sorry because he would cook us a good meal. He would make sure we ate, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
It was just like he was making up for his behavior, so to speak.
Okay.
But in between time, in the meantime, see, I don't take that with me now. As I'm grown, I still can communicate with them. The others, not so much. You know what I mean? They still trying to kind of like, they're younger too. They kind of pinpoint. I remember when y'all did this, that, and the third. I let it go because like I said, I don't know. I guess some because we was a different from my mom's side.
Generally was a good man. Generally, he
Yeah, I
was a
mean, he
good man
stayed
when
at
you were
home.
growing up.
That's why I said you don't see that too often. Two drug they stayed at home. He never left my mom. I'm pretty sure he was doing his thing, at some point, and she, doing her thing or whatever. But they still stayed together and took care of us. He always made sure we ate, and that's just something I can always remember. Through all of that, he always made sure we had a good meal.
So I don't know if you heard what she said. She
Oh,
said he was a drug addict. Did you not hear that? Then there's a
oh yeah,
very good chance that what she's saying he verbal abuse was verbal abuse.
Yeah.
I believe it. I believe it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
So
that's why I
you
said
altered by something other than his natural state of mind. Yeah, more likely he probably was verbally abusive, like he said. If he didn't get his high, yeah, he gonna be pissed.
yeah,
Look,
he was.
I
yeah,
had family
yeah,
members who was alcoholics and piss heads, and if he didn't
Yeah,
get his liquor, his drink, they was verbal abusive. And even when they did get their drink, they were still verbal abuse. So the chances, what she's saying, I could believe what she's saying. I can agree with
he
that.
never
Was
he
it
never
verbal
hit
abuse?
us or
More
nothing
likely
like
was.
that. Yeah, he not. Let
no,
me let
no,
me
no.
clarify that he never abused us as far as physically, but his words they would cut so bad. You know what I mean? And I think he was, but like I said, he kind of made up for it with the meal. I guess we kind of knew
I
he
Well,
was
think
trying to.
I think I
yeah,
agreed
like
with Angela on that because
go ahead, Ignite.
Yeah.
I think I agreed with Angela on that because if I recall, I told Angela that yeah, if it has to do with the drug, yes, he was abusive. I think I
Yeah.
said that. Yeah, if it has to do with him being frustrated because of drug, him not getting drug, yeah, that was abusive. I think I said that earlier.
So what category of a man? He's not on drugs anymore. What caliber of man would you categorize that at? He just drinks occasionally now. Would you consider that a good man? A good,
Yeah,
a decent? I
I
just
will
call him.
consider I will consider him more of a decent man because
Yeah,
of
because
the
he didn't
drug stain.
he didn't physically harm us. He just was.
Look, I would if he kicked his habit, if he's no longer using
Yeah, he
drugs.
did. Praise God, he did. Him and my mom.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I said he did. I said praise God, him and my mother.
So if they both was able to do that, I don't see why. They They're good people now.
That's
Look,
why I
they
said
had vices in the past. They had vices in the past. They acknowledge it. They changed it. Their behavior changed, and they moved. And they realized, yeah, this wasn't good. We was wrong for doing this, and they
yeah,
changed. Yeah, I don't consider them bad anymore now. During that time when they was getting high, or whatever it was they was doing, yeah, I consider them bad people. But they changed their ways. They grown up. They matured. They got help. So I don't
yeah,
consider them bad now. Was they bad then? Yes, but now, no.
The,
yeah.
the
But
reason why
believe
I
it or
consider
yeah,
the reason why I consider them decent is because
mhm,
Angela said a few minutes ago that he still does it occasionally, but on the alcohol side, you said that
yeah,
he
yeah,
still abuse alcohol occasionally, right? Yeah, that's why I think he's a decent man. I
yeah,
won't call him. Yeah, that's because
yeah,
abuse of alcohol. The two most feral thing on this planet Earth, right?
yeah.
The two most feral thing on this planet Earth is alcohol and drug. Drug is the
Okay.
worst.
Well,
Alcohol is common. Drug is the worst, but alcohol is common. But both of them, I consider them very, very detrimental to family.
yeah, but like I said, I survived. We survived. Like I said, other siblings they view him different, whatnot. But I don't view him as a terrible man because I had to think about how he took care of us in the midst of all of that. He didn't leave us. He didn't abandon us. He didn't get mad and just say the heck with it, whatever. He stayed with my mom. He's still with my mother, to this day. But like I said, if you can. I know some people, like I said, some dads get a bad rep, and stuff like that. But if you got a smidge of hope, just hold on to that. I mean, my situation is obviously not like some other, and to the for a point too of him getting away from the drugs. I actually ran away one time, and I can remember not too long after that he was by the refrigerator once he came and got us, because it wasn't gonna be no running away, I guess. But anyway, when I ran away, I was going to my sister's house, and he ended up getting us, me and my another brother. He ended up catching us before we got over there. So we had a conversation, of course, like, why was I acting like this? And I looked at him. I said, because y'all on drugs, and I'm tired of it. Don't you know? He looked over the refrigerator, and I'll never forget this day. He looked over the refrigerator because he was in the refrigerator at the time, and it's just like his world had crashed. And not too long after that, he was off drugs, and he's still drunk now. But not too long after that, I think I played a part possibly in that. But it took me running away for him to see that, that something was wrong. I don't know why at 17 he decided that was enough drugs. Maybe he was ready to get off of them anyway. I don't know. But anyway, that kind of steered him away from it, and not too long after that he was off of it. And it was crack cocaine. That was a strong drug,
Shout out to him for kicking that. God damn! Shout out to that brother.
Yeah,
Right? You and his mother. I mean, him and his wife.
yeah. It had him for a while too. It really did.
So that's why I was like, damn, that was a bad one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was.
A very ugly one.
Yeah, but they was able to maintain it and feed us every day. So I can't be mad at that. It was kind of a weird dynamic, but like I said, I just call myself a survivor. We survived it. Nobody died in the midst or nothing like that. But thankfully, thank God. But yeah, so that's just the caliber of man that the universe granted me. And like I said, he wasn't perfect, but he did make sure I ate. So I don't know. But yeah.
All right, well, salute to you, and thanks for sharing your story again. Really appreciate that.
Thank y'all for listening. Happy
All right,
Sunday.
man. Happy Sunday to you, Miss Angela.
See ya.
All right, take care.
All right.
All right, brothers, we're going to go ahead and end this show, man. Thanks again for your perspectives. Shout out to Balance, Cookie, Jay, Luis, and Shan as well. Make sure we support each other, man. Thanks, EKNA, for dropping in. And Brother Hink, make sure you hit that like button, and also make sure you subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and get your Teej as well, man. 40% off, along with a free gift, and you get 20% off for life. That link is in the description. If you guys haven't already, I'm going to go ahead and drop that link today. I'm going to go ahead and do an independent sale. Actually, I'm going to start it for tomorrow. I'm going to do like a 3 or 4 day thing for Independence Day. Make sure we take care of our men and their beard. Your Sure Man King on top. That link is pinned to no, it's not. It's in the description right now. Click that link. Go ahead and get your Assure Man King on top. Let's make sure you get our beer together. We about to get up out of here, y'all. All right, y'all enjoy y'all Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah.